Hello and welcome to the Iconic Media Group Cheltenham preview with Billy Lee. Billy joins us here today with Mark Fennan from Sports and myself, Gary Toohey from Iconic Media. Billy, listen, thanks very much for coming in this morning.
No problem.
You're only fashionably 15 minutes late, but we get over that. Mark, how are you this morning?
Good, yourself, Gar?
Not too bad, not too bad. You're the driver, so you're to blame for it.
Well, you told the two wrong lads. It's an Irish 15 minutes. It's only about 2.5 hours, but sure, look.
Lesson learned for next year. Tuesday's nearly over at this rate. Billy, listen, first of all, thanks very much. I suppose you're our special guest. I wouldn't say Mark is anything special or myself.
I thought I was the highlight. All of a sudden I'd be pushed to the side.
Billy, listen, I suppose, look, everyone knows you're from Ballingarry in Limerick, so obviously a local connection here in Limerick this morning. You're a grade 1 winning jockey. How are things with you at the moment?
Good now, yeah. Keeping well and from getting busy there and looking forward to the start of the season. Look,
I suppose you'd be one of the best known flat jockeys in Ireland at the moment, but you did start, I suppose, your career out as a jumps jockey. We were talking to Fish the other night, Mark Enright, a good friend of yours. Mark has gone the other direction. He went from the jumps to the flat. I suppose, talk us through, I suppose, the early days, Billy, before we jump into Cheltenham. You had a good few winners over hurdles at the early days, and who were you riding for as well?
I started out as an apprentice to Tommy Stack, and he had a couple of jumpers as well, so I started riding for them over hurdles a small bit. And we'd always a couple of jumpers at home as well, so just tipping away like that. And it was more so the winters I done with the jumping and was riding away in the flat as well during the summer, but just the flat took over then. I wasn't doing the jumping full time, so there wasn't much point in trying to keep carrying on doing the jumping and concentrating the flat.
And Billy, was it a thing down to just, I suppose, availability of rides? Because I know Ireland is the most competitive country in the world for national hunt riding. Was it the lack of rides, or was it the weight, or what was it that actually made you switch to the flat full time?
Oh sure, it was the weight really. I thought I was going to get heavier and that I'd have to end up jumping, and I was getting the experience in before I was going to go out full time, but the weight settled and I was able to keep on the flat, so it just made more sense that way.
You weren't eating enough Haribos, Billy. I have a packet here this morning. You jumped straight into them, so you probably should eat more Haribos. Back in the day, you've been able to do the weight for the jumps. Listen, Mark, we're going to go straight into it. You're our representative from Biles this morning, and listen, thanks very much to Biles Sports, who have given us €100 free bets there this morning. So the way we're going to do it is we have €25 each. We'll have 3 selections there by the end of the show, and then we're going to do a €25 win treble. And we've decided, I suppose, that Cleanest Foundation are our partners for the sports show here in Limerick. So we're going to, fingers crossed, have a few pounds to give to Cleanest by the end of the week. Lads, let's jump straight into it. So the Supreme, obviously the big Cheltenham Roar at 1:30 on Tuesday. The Sky Bet Supreme Novices Hurdle. The winner gets 76k, nothing too shabby about that. Obviously the head of the market, we have Facile Vega, Marine National, LTA Temps, I suppose High Definition is of real interest there as well, and 14-1 Bar. Mark, I suppose the main question at this is, well, 2 questions. The pace was probably going to come from High Definition, and will Facile Vega forget about that run at Christmas?
Look, first of all, I'm one of his biggest fans, but this lad, he'll need to be Penn and Teller or some sort of a magician to get him back here. The vibes were, was he even going to make it to the Cheltenham Festival? He went out to 11-2 after his run in Leopardstown. I think he should have went out to 20-1 even, but he's been smashed in the betting the last week, back into 7-4. He's 2-1 again. Marine National is second favourite at 7-2. Look, I can't have Facile Vega. He couldn't make a liar of me. Willie Mullins is a maestro, but I still think he would need a magic wand to get this lad ready in time. Hard race in Dublin, but before that I done a preview for the Dublin Racing Festival, and I found him vulnerable going forward from his previous run before that. Just the way he switched from being a hold-up horse to going out and making it and stuff like that. But I'm going to take a chance here with High Definition each way. I just think he's the engine and the class. I think actually Fallen might help his case here, because he didn't get too, he only went around halfway. His first run in Leopardstown was some run for a horse that jumped the way he did and then still won that maiden in Leopardstown. I was actually fancying Diverge each way in the race here in the Supreme, but he beat Diverge that day so impressively. Diverge went out then and hacked up then the maiden after that, and it's not too bad. Obviously he'll come on from the run as well and might be too far away either, but for me, Biles Sports every day of the festival are given, for the first race, money back all losers. Head over to the website to check that out, but for me I'm going to go with take a chance with High Definition each way in the first.
You're going high definition. That's a fair statement now you're making about Facile Vegas. You're going out to 20 to 1. Look, I personally think if you can draw a line through the run at Christmas. I think if the real Facile Vega turns up, it will be a facile win for Paul and Willie, a pun fully intended. My selection, but then again, I'm not actually going to select Facile for the race. Obviously, look, we don't know if we can put a line through the run at Christmas. I'm not going to take a chance on LA Thames. I think proven what I'd done at Christmas, I don't think it wasn't a real shock, to be honest. I think obviously once Facile dropped out of the race, I think LA Thames won really, really well in the end. So my selection will be LA Thames, roughly around the 6 to 1 mark. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah, bang on, 6 to 1. Look, the only thing I would say is there's two horses that I would have fancied strongly here from the Willie Mullin camps. Was the horse that they're both going to the longer distance, was the French horse and Gaelic Warrior. I thought if they ran here, they'd have a super chance to win the race. The fact he don't run him here, he runs both in the 2 mile 5. Look, the signs have to be good. He has a couple of good each way shouts in the race, but look, I'm going to stick with high definition. Of course, as I said, money back all losers in the first race, so you have that cushion as well.
Billy, you're surely going to support the flat boys there, okay, with the Galileo. It's not often we have a 117 rated Galileo turn up in the Supreme. What's your opinion, Billy?
Yeah, look, I think he won well at Christmas and Maiden Hurdle. His jumping will have to improve a good bit. The only thing, the slow ground just might help with that a bit. The ground actually wasn't too bad at Christmas time. So like the soft ground, but he's won on it before as a 2-year-old, so that shouldn't be a bother to him. I think his jumping will be the big issue there, but as saying, the slow ground just might help him there. Things going a bit slower. Facile Vega was impressive at Christmas time and blew out obviously then in the Dublin Race Festival. I thought he got a handy lead when he won at Christmas time. And when they took him on, then he blew out. But he was very wound up. I was up there at the Dublin Race Festival and I was watching him. He was very wound up before the start, going around the parade, and he did two people at his head now, and he was pretty wound up. So he look, if he comes back and he's the horse that I think he'll win. But he let down a lot of people that day, and the fate has gone out of him a small bit,
Just on that, Bill, obviously look, from your experience, and horses blow up like that or get excited beforehand, can you, from your personal opinion, can you put a line through the run at Christmas for Facile Vega?
Oh, you can, of course. And
do you think it's solely down to that? He just got excited beforehand, he blew up?
I don't think so. He said he was sore and everything after, so look, maybe it was that he was very sore and he has him back, but the trust has gone out of him now. You can't. He's not the hot pot going into the first race.
And can I just ask you one question now, from your experience riding horses? Just say you're on another horse for a different yard. Would you be trying to get him off his toes? Now I know that's tactical. You probably wouldn't be saying. But
no, I just think they're going to ride him different. He's going to sit in there 4th, 5th, 6th, get him settled.
And the question I asked Andy Slattery at another preview was, do you think he can settle in mid-pack now? Would you be able to settle him in mid-pack?
I think so, yeah. Look, I think that they'll go a gallop, and it was just the way it happened. He'd made the run in at Christmas time that worked. Next thing he's out in front again, and high definition is down straight on him, and they went some gallop. So look, they'll be setting out to ride him. I'm not saying they're going to drop him over him, but they're just going to ride him 4th, 5th, 6th probably. Just a lead, settle him in, and pick him up. And if that good bumper horse comes back, I don't think he'll be beat, but at the same time, for punters, the trust has gone out of it, so you have to look to the each way market, I think. And probably high definition probably represents the big value. Paul Nichols's horse won a grade 1, he's 10 to 1, so he's probably a bit of each way play as well.
So what is your selection, Bill?
I think I'll go with Paul Nichols's horse because he's a grade 1 winner each way, 10 to 1.
Perfect, lovely stuff. That's Timoris for Paul Nichols and Harry Cobden. So I suppose before we actually move on to the next one, I do want to touch on Marie National. He would have been my selection. I bloody love the horse, and I suppose the story behind it, Barry Connell kind of having such a good season, but I do think his jumping leaves a little to be desired. And I suppose Michael O'Sullivan obviously having a year of his life, an incredible year for Michael, and he's definitely the best claimer out there at the moment. But does the lack of experience around Cheltenham, will that matter to Michael and Billy when it comes to 1:30 on Tuesday?
No, I don't think so. He seems a good level-headed rider, and he's just he's good at his job. So I think he'll take it all in and he'll enjoy it. And the horse has a right good chance, so that'll give him plenty of confidence going into the first that, he has a live chance. Barry Connell has been, well, I suppose, quietly confident about it.
I just want to come in there as well, right? I've been watching a few previews, and I think, look, I'm not one for really whatever, but there's a couple of clowns out. Like, everyone has to start and ride a winner somewhere. Like this thing of they're knocking the horse because of the rider. He's a savage £5 claimer, but he hadn't claimed 5 off him in the Grade 1 he won, and somebody has to ride their first winner at the Cheltenham Festival.
Yeah.
I just think that's nonsense for me.
And what will help there, if the ground is slow, they won't be riding as tight. Everything will, things will slow down. Whether if it was good ground, everything will be happening 2 strides faster, and it might overwhelm them a small bit. I don't think that's going to happen there on Tuesday. I think it'll be fine, and it's just down to whether the horse is good enough then.
I think the horse is plenty good enough, but I'd love Barry.
It'd be a good story, because to be fair to Barry, he's confident. And there's not many trainers do that. Like that come out and say this horse has a right chance. He's everything. He's sticking his neck out there, and if he don't win, you'll have the people having a go at him. Oh, sure, he don't know what he's talking about or what. But fair play to Barry, he's sticking his neck out there, and I hope he's good enough to go and win it then for him.
Like the past 10 winners of this race, Constitution Hill, Appreciated, Shishkin, A Classical Dream, Somerville Voy, the Enigma, there was Lebec, Altier, Duvan, Vature, and Champagne Fever. Mother of God, what a list of winners.
Horses,
so look, just to wrap up there, Supreme. Mark, you're going high definition each way. I'm going with LSA Temps each way, and Billy, you're going with Timur's each way. We'll move on to the article, so boys. Obviously 2:10. It's the market headed by El Fabiano and Jamban, Dicer Dynamo, Saint Roy, and 40-1 Bar. I suppose the pace of the race is going to probably come from Dicer Dynamo, more than likely. Jamban and El Fabiano, in my eyes, will they take each other on, or will Aidan and Paul have a bit more clues about them? It's a race it's not that I don't have an opinion on it, I can't come to a conclusion who's going to win the bloody thing. Mark, I'll start with you again. What's your opinion on the Arkle?
Nap of the day, El Fabiolo. I napped him in Dublin. I said to back him for this race before Dublin. He was only 5-1 for this race before he ran in Dublin. He was actually 6-1 in Dublin. I just think what he done there, like what he done last year in Aintree. I done a preview last year, and this was the horse I said, if he turns up in any of the hurdle races, watch out for him. He didn't make it to Cheltenham. He went to Aintree on only his second start and was beaten in neck by Jamban, who ran the Supreme, finished in second to Constitution Hill. So I just think he'll turn that form around. I think he'll turn around impressively, this lad. Every time Willie's been asked about his novice hurdlers last year, he kind of mentioned this lad, and every time he was asked about his top novice chasers this year, without mentioning his name when the interviewers were asking him, he kind of brought this lad into the equation as well. What he done in Dublin was spectacular. He's the only thing that beats this horse is the obstacles in front of him. And I'm going to keep it at that. Once he jumps around, this lad, they'll only be looking at his tail. There's no point sticking my neck out the line any longer. Dicer Dynamo, I think the engine is there, but I think he gets revved up. He'll probably get revved up again. I think especially the first day, the crowd is going to be raucous. So for me, I can't have him. He's been trying. He's a good horse, and he's better than a good horse. But I just think that the occasion could get him. If it was the Cheltenham when the Cova was there with no crowds, he'd have a right chance, I think. But there is an engine there. Danny might switch him off a bit, but for me, I'm going to stick with El Fabio. I'm going to make him my Napa Day 1.
Napa Day 1 by Mark from Boys. Mark, that's a fair confidence there. Bill, what's your opinion on it?
Yeah, no, I'd agree with Mark there.
We don't often agree now.
No, we don't often agree. No, I was impressed by him. He just sat off a good pace all the way around, and he picked him up, and he went to the line like a good horse. John Bunn, to me, has not bet a whole lot in his races over fences. And I like John Bunn, he's a nice horse in that, but I don't think Cheltenham is his track. Okay. Not saying he don't perform there, but I just think it doesn't play to his strengths, and I think Aintree is probably going to be more of his track. Dicer Dynamo, I couldn't have him. Probably Saint Roy, I know he unseated the last day. If he gets around, he's a good horse, and he's probably a little bit of value in the race.
Fair play. So that's El Fabiola for Mark and for Billy. Yes, was last year at the Aintree, didn't El Fabiolo just get beaten by a neck by John Bunn after winning the maiden in Tremor. So obviously he's obviously trained on very well. Now with John Bunn the last day with Calico, I think I think a lot of questions were thrown towards John Bon.
I actually think that run was better. Like, and I'm
Yes.
a big El Fabiolo fan, and I actually think that run was better. Like, he actually jumped superb when he was under pressure there.
That's what I was
And
saying,
I
yeah.
think it was just caught in the hop and a bit of a wake up call. He's still done the job.
That's it. I think Aidan wasn't expecting Calico to come up to his backside, and when he did, he got a bit of a shock, I suppose. But I thought he won very well in the end. And like Fitzgerald, he was on some other podcast there last week, but he was saying it took him an awful age to pull up after the finish line that day against Calico.
Slow, though,
they did, I suppose.
And that's going to happen. Like,
yeah, but
like El Fell, like he bet a 136 horse in a grade 2. Like, that's not good enough. Same with the grade 1. They're in their 130s. They're not good enough. El Fabiola's beat Bridge was rated 150 by 10 lengths. Appreciating Dysart Dynamo behind him, Phil Dore, Visioneer and Flame Bearer. I think any of the first 4 could have won that grade 2 in Warwick.
Yeah.
My own opinion.
Well, I think, lads, you're after convincing me of who I'm going to be backing. So 3 of us are going to go for El Fabiolo. To win the Arkle on Tuesday. We'll go straight to the Champion Hurdle. Love Champion Hurdle every year. It's an absolute class race, and I'm hoping to God, I said on the Limerick Lear Sports show there last week, I hope to God Nico is coming up the final furlong on jumping out of his seat, waving to the crowd and winning by 15-20 lengths. I think this lad is an absolute superstar in the making. The sport needs it. With all the negativity going around there the last few months. Stateman is no mug. I do think Stateman will be well clear of the third, whoever the third will be that day. But look, I think we'll probably all agree that Constitution Hill is going to win the Champion Hurdle. Mark?
I'm going to take a chance.
Oh Lord, you have to be controversial, don't you?
Company here now, right? So not only do you get your money back as a loser if you on the first race every day, but of all races, if you finish second or third to the SP5, up to 20 quid you get your money back.
You're a proper company man, Mark. You know that.
Well done, Mark. Well done.
Every time I mention the name, I get a 10%. So, like, Statement for me there, he's a 20 quid bet to nothing in my eyes.
Okay, that's a fair point, though.
I'm a big fan of this horse. I think, look, Constitution Hill looks a freak. But what happens when he's in a proper testable race? Now, he might even get it here, I'm not saying he will, but if he does, what happens then? And for the sport, I wouldn't mind seeing him go and absolutely hacking up. But for me, Statement, what did he win last year? Was it the Cork Cup?
No, he won the county, wasn't it?
County.
The county.
Won the county.
Again, older horses, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I love me county.
Love me county.
No, he did.
Like, and he's nothing wrong. So if Constitution hit, like, for me, they're on about the fighting fifth. He bet Evitante, wasn't it? Yeah.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, but he was a 5-year-old now when he won last year. Like, he wasn't a 4-year-old.
Yeah. The Supreme in my eyes, I think, fell apart a bit last year. Like, Matty Potter didn't run a race. What was really left in behind?
He won 20 lengths there.
I know.
John Mom was second. Like, he won 20 lengths.
Yeah.
And he could have won 30 lengths to wake him up.
I'm going to take a chance with that offer, the Statement. I just think I like the way he runs. He's economical over his...
Okay, let's put the offer aside, Mark, right? Because that's from a betting point of view.
Right.
I think that's an absolute no-brainer because obviously only the professionals will be back in Constitution Hill in a single.
Well done,
But
Right, okay.
with the special aside, who do you think is going to win the race?
Constitution Hill.
Right, that's it. So your company hat is off there. Thanks very much, Mark. Billy, who's going to win the race?
Same, yeah, Constitution.
Yeah.
I think a man will give him the race, will make a race for Statement. And Vaughan wasn't that far behind Statement at Christmas, and he's probably a horse that could keep improving from, you know what I mean, he's a 5-year-old, but they've big improvements. Constitution Hill as a novice was 7 seconds faster than last year's Champion Hurdle.
Yes.
And everyone made a big deal of it at the time, and I thought they went very quick in the novice hurdle and they didn't go quick in the Champion Hurdle. And if you look back at it, it was early on where those 7 seconds were lost in the Champion Hurdle, but they probably came home the same. And I thought if she went that pace to them, she'd beat him as well.
Yeah.
Time has told that that's not the case, that he is a superstar, and bar anything, bar there's any underlying issue with him, I think he's a certainty.
Yeah, like just looking at his record here, won by 14 lengths by Toohey, won by 12 lengths to Jetty Oil, 22 lengths to Jambon, 12 lengths to Debutant and 17 lengths to Debutant. Obviously all the time buys and all the speed figure boys, they all think this Leoc is an absolute machine.
But he's doing that without getting a belt stick.
And actually, I was just going to say that, and actually a point that Mick Fitzgerald made the other day, he was working, he did his schooling on Monday, and Ruby asked him, why was he working on his own? Is that a kind of a guide to, is he going to go out and make the running? And Mick says, no, because any horse that Nicky has had working with Constitution Hill at home, they've either blown out or they've fallen. Constitution Hill has to work on his home. There isn't a horse in Nicky's yard that can actually do any bit of work with him. So, look, I think it'll be a 1-2. 1-2.
What way do you think the race? Do you think he'll make it? Who else will make it?
But sure, he didn't have to make it, but he'd probably just sit upside it or something and just love it. But what you love about him, though, is he looks so relaxed. He just goes through the motions. Next thing Nicky gives him a kick in the belly, he's just gone. He just picks up.
When he says a kick, it's a
tickle.
tickle.
And he doesn't just spurt for 50 yards and he's put 2 or 3. He seems to just keep going, keep quickening, and he really gets to the line. That's what you'd love about it.
Would Willie not have Danny go out there and make the pace?
I think they just ride their own races and
right for second and third.
Yeah, that's it. Sure. Look, if they beat him, and but no, they won't be trying to compromise one to beat him, I think, you know.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So look, listen, all 3 of us are going for Constitution Hill, but the company man, Mark, Mark is going for a statement because there's a money back to the favourite if you come second. So he's going for statement.
Is that why Vaughan is 14 to 1? There's only 6 runners and there'll be no each way market.
No, there'll be 2 places in the race.
Yeah, but there'll be 2 places, but more than likely he's going to finish third, like, so he'd need 8 runners for each way. Yeah. That's why he's 14 to 1.
You could look at him without the favourite each way, maybe, or something like that. Under there.
Right, so listen, we'll move on there again. We'll go to the Mayor's Hurdle. Now, obviously, loads of drama and I suppose Twitter talk from people giving out.
I'm one of those giving out ours.
You are giving out?
Yeah.
Right, well, I'm going to have a right argument with you. So
we have a mutual friend, Brian, now, and me and him have been arguing for the last few months about this.
Right,
this is my opinion, okay?
Let's go through it first before you give your opinion, right? The Mayor's Hurdle, 4:10, Honeysuckle, Marie's Rock, Epithant, Brandy Love, Love Envy, Echoes and Rain, Queensbrook. I know these Mayor races are controversial, and usually they are more than likely spud races because obviously it's horses deflecting. But let's call a spade here. Honeysuckle, Marie's Rock, Epithant, if any of them, Brandy Love, if any of them went to Champion Hurdle, they'd be probably vying for 4th. Let's call a spade here, Mark. This is turning out to be they could be one of the best races at the festival, and that's saying something. You could have Honeysuckle, Marie's Rock, Epithant, Brandy Love, Love Envy, Echoes and Rain turning in for home, 6 or 7 going for it, coming up to the last 2, and it doesn't matter if it's a 0-47 in Dundalk for Friday night or it's the Mayor's Hurdle Tuesday. What you want is drama coming up to the last 2 or 3 hurdles, and I think we're going to have it here. Now, before you give your opinion on who should be running where, who do you think will win the race?
I'm going to go with Echoes and Rain each way. Watch back her Hatton's Grace run before she fell. I think she's a different mare this year. I think she's settling a lot better. I think they used to have headgear on her, took it off. She
didn't settle in the Hatton's Grace either, though.
But she was travelling in. But
down the back, he was swinging out her still as well. Like, and she still turned in going well, you'd say, and she could have ran the right race.
That's what I'm saying. I think she could have put it up to him in the Hatton's Grace. Then, like, she was second in Cesaro. She won the qualified riders in Galway back in the last year. She unseated in the Hatton's Grace, and then she won well the last day. I think she's a cracking chance at each.
It was a fair unseat, no man. She absolutely turned upside down.
Yeah, but didn't she bounce? She's bounced back since. She's not coming in off that run. Like, she's bounced back since. She won in Naas, didn't she?
Yeah.
The Limestone Lad actually, and she won very well, beating another one of Willie's Cashback. So I think that'll sweeten her up. I think
we catch her by 10 lengths as well, Mark. So like it wasn't just.
I think she's a different mare this year, and you have to fancy the inform. The thing about mares is this is the way I like to look at the mares races. You have to fancy the inform. She's 8 to 1 or 9 to 1 now. Actually, I think that's cracking each way bet. Brandy Love as well. I think Paul's opted to ride Brandy Love. She got some engine, but I don't know that she put it all together at times. Look, for me, Honeysuckle, I think she'll be running the Champion Hurdle whether she wins or not. What happens if she hacks up here?
If she hacks up here, it's great. She goes out in a winner mark. That's the whole.
She's all, yeah, right.
And if she ran in champion hurdle, everyone would be saying she wouldn't. I tell you, she wouldn't be Constitution Hill. She wouldn't beat State Man. Hold on now, let me finish now. She wouldn't beat Constitution Hill. She wouldn't beat State Man, and she wouldn't beat Vauban in my eyes. So Honeysuckle is going to retire, finishing 4th in a champion hurdle, and everyone is bitching and moaning about her going out. She should have been retired the last in Leverstown. She, in my eyes, will win the race. She's going to go out with a winner at Cheltenham, and at the end of the day, having a winner at Cheltenham, she owes absolutely nothing to no one. And Henry and the owners and everyone connected owe absolutely nothing to you, to me, or anyone else. 100%. So I think this is 100% the right race for her.
100% agree with that way, but what I'm saying is she's the last 2-time winner of the champion hurdle. Last horse to win 3 champion hurdles is the Brack.
But she's not going to win 3 champion hurdles because she can't win it. The only way she could win a champion hurdle is if the race completely fell apart or the 3 in front fell.
Happen.
Simple as that.
Well, I wouldn't say the 3 have to fall.
She won't beat Vauban or State Man, let alone Constitution.
I don't know. She's come up this hill the last 3 consecutive years. Horses are different at Cheltenham course form. What I'm saying is, what happens if she gets beaten this race? If she finishes 4th or 5th,
it doesn't matter,
I don't think she's going to be in the top 3 in this race. I love them.
And
I'm a lover of horse racing. First of all, that's where I want to come from. I love good stories and I love nice horses and I love when they win and I love when they keep winning. That's the way I am. But I would rather see her going out there in a battle in the champion hurdle. Maybe like if she finishes 2nd or 3rd in the champion hurdle, I think we'd better run in here. Obviously not if she wins, but I don't think she's going to win. I hope she wins. I hope, meet my words, because she's great for racing. The both of them are great for racing. I was one of their biggest fans and still am, but I just think I'd rather see her going to try and have a crack at three consecutive wins in the champion hurdle. Whether she wins or not, at least she'd have that chance.
Billy, the professional jockey, what's your opinion?
I don't think she'll even win this either.
Okay.
You've good arguments. I do agree with Mark Small, but that maybe you should let her go out and have a go at the champion hurdle.
Clip that where he's I need that as a voiceover.
But I think these races are important for the breed.
That's it.
As in like it encourages more people to run their mares and that. So in that way, these races are vitally important.
People do forget that bit.
Yeah.
And I suppose, look, listen, you have our social media and everything that comes with it. People talking their pockets and on the couch at home. But these mares races are brutally important to the game and the longevity of it. So anyone knocking. Now look, Honeysuckle, doesn't matter if she finishes last. Her breeding is.
She'll still get a chance.
The fact of her, like. What I'm saying is she's already won a mayor's hurdle. She's won 2 champion hurdles. So what difference is adding another mayor's hurdle after 2 champion hurdles?
Gosh, I know, but if she wins, what reception she'll get? Because that's the last thing I want to see her. Like,
but imagine if she.
But she has more of a chance in this than the champion hurdle.
Imagine if the dream, like sometimes life and racing is a dream.
Hold on a second now. Before you go on talking more baloney, you're after saying she won't win the mayor's hurdle, but she should run the champion's hurdle. So you're basically contradicting yourself.
I think this deeper. I think the race is deeper here.
This is deeper?
Yeah. I think that...
So hold on a second. Do you think Marie's Rock, Epitaph and Brandy Love is deeper than Constitution Hill?
There's 2 to beat in the champion hurdle, I think. 2 absolute superstars, right? I think she'll be Vauban in champion hurdle.
Right, okay.
Right? She's got about 5 or 6 of them to be here. I think she won't even finish in top 5.
I think
top 5? Right, well we're going to come up with some sort of each her words when she does finish in top 5. We're going to come up with some. I don't know. You'll have to do something publicly to. We have to apologise to Honeysuckle and all the camp.
What?
Now look, listen. We'll move on because we could be here all day. Yeah. My selection is Honeysuckle, and I'll make my argument here. She is obviously regressing a small bit. She's at 9 now. She's rated 159. She was 165 at the start of the season. I do think her run the last day was very good. I don't think they used her to her best ability. I thought they should have made more of the running. Was she currently 10 to 3 mark, is she? Or what price she with Biles? She's around the 4 to 1, 10 to 3 mark. I do think she'll be backed in off the boards, obviously, with the public. I'm going to go with a win bet on Honeysuckle. I do think Marie's Rock
3 to 1.
3 to 1. I do think Marie's Rock is the danger. Epitaph, obviously.
She declared, didn't she, Marie's Rock now for this?
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's declared there as of this morning. But look, my opinion is it is Honeysuckle. I do think her 2 runs this year, obviously the Teahupoo run, obviously a bit underwhelming, but then Teahupoo could be one of the favourites is one of the favourites for the Sayers Hurdle. I'm going to Honeysuckle. Mark, you're going with Echoes and Rain each way. Yeah. And Bill, what was your selection?
I think Marie's Rock's going to win this. I think she's a solid mare and she's actually probably improving more so. And Honeysuckle's coming back, and I always like the ones that are improving. I think Marie's Rock is probably. Look, I'd love to see Honeysuckle win it, but she's slightly aggressive. Now, to be fair though, Henry's horses weren't, they were in and out and they put in bad runs and that, and I thought when she finished third in the Hatton's Grace, that was a poor run from her. I was a lot happier with the run the last day in Leopardstown. She got to the line better, but you just what we see in this year, I think I'd stick with Marie's Rock in this one.
That's fair enough. We'll move on before we fall out with Mark Moore here.
Going over.
I'm just going to really quickly touch on the National Hunt race because I don't have a massive opinion on it. We'll go to the handicaps after this in 2 seconds, Mark. But look, I suppose the National Hunt Chase, the 4 miler, as everyone knows it. Look, I do think it's a precision. I think Patrick and Gallard do Mesnell will win the race. Official rating 155. Chemical energy is 147. Look, I'm going with Patrick and Willie there. Mark, what's your selection there?
Yeah, all along the both horses entered in this, Gillard and Mesnell and Ramillis, and I done a preview and I said whatever he picks here, obviously he'll win. I just still stand by that. Chemical energy, I think the fact that Jamie opted to book his ride on him a few days ago rather than going with Manila Crooner, I think that's a good tip in itself. Tenzing from Willie Mullins, but look, Gillard is Mesnell, I think he's the class of the race. Even Money could be the one to just put in a little bit of a treble on the day. Yeah,
perfect. Right, and Bill, what's your selection?
I haven't really been following this, and sure it depends. 3 mile 5, most of them are running it over the first time. Sure, look, he has the form. It was 2-5 the last day. He's won over 3 miles. He looks like he needs every yard of the trip. So, and he's beat Churchstone Warrior, who beat Marlon Mission.
Yeah.
So that form time's in there, and it's probably he probably is the one to beat. Not sure.
Right, so the 3 of us are going for Patrick and Willie with Gallard, Mesnell. We'll go to the Boodles in a second, because I suppose I love the Boodles. It's my favourite handicap of the year. Absolutely bloody love it. But we'll just touch on the Ultima. Look, I've no real opinion on the Ultima. There is one at a price, Fanon Destruvel for Venetia, and Lucy Turner is getting the ride. Look, I suppose a horse that running great race all the time. It is coming off top weight. Was 162. I think we're going in off 155 here, but still top weight. Was beaten by Overdrive back in Wetherby on Stephen's Day. Now into Overdrive is obviously second favourite. So look, if I was having a bet, I'd have maybe a 5 each way on Fanon Destruvel at 33-1. But again, I've no real opinion on this race apart from that. Mark, have you anything that stands out for you?
Yeah, there's a chance here, 14-1. Paul Nichols is 300 through 5 for the McNeil family. So I think a bit of course and distance form in off of a nice way. I would have preferred if you maybe claimed off and be getting down a bit lower, but I just think maybe this could be easier to fill the frame. He should be in the top 4 or 5 anyway at 14-1.
Perfect, 305 for Mark. And Bill, have you any opinion on the Ultima?
No. I stay away from the handicaps. They're bloody lottery.
And Billy is sitting on the fence. Perfect, right. We'll go to the Boodles. Look, we'll spend a good couple of minutes at it, because again, I love the Boodles now. A second here. So look, it's the Boodles, 22 runners. Obviously the going is soft at the moment. 8 hurdles, 2 miles. I just love seeing 4-year-olds in these big handicap races. Bill, I'll start. I know you said you don't go. We're not really looking at the handicaps, but I suppose a lot of ex-flat horses coming in here. Is there anything that stands out to you that you see that looks kind of well handicapped for this race?
Just thought it was interesting that Rich Blackmore got booked for Ben Pauling.
Yeah, bad.
That could be a tip in itself, coming from France. Looks off a nice marker of 10-10, so he could be another Gaelic warrior. I know he got bitten it, but he just
about though.
He just could be one that he could be interesting.
Right, you're going for bad. Yeah, I know I've seen that this morning after declarations. Rachel riding bad for Ben Paulin, in off 126, and obviously we know these French horses with the ratings. It usually works around £6 or £7. They seem to be well in, is what they say. So look, third favourite there, roughly around 7-8-1 with Biles. Mark, who is your selection here?
I think your man, the favourite Takao. I think he's been mapped out for this race. The fact that McTighe stays in keeps the weights a bit lower. So there could be a bit of shrew connection maybe somewhat in there, but 4-1, he's a bit skimpy for this race for me. So if he went out to 5 or 6-1, probably won't be the JP runner, but I think he's the one they all have to be here to cow, I think. You can see Andy Slattery's horse run a decent race. He was beat by Blood Destiny, who was favourite now, joint favourite for the Triumph, and he's won his 2 starts since, and they were fairly bullish about him the last day. The good man on board with Danny Mullins, 9-1, he could run alright, but for me I think the cow could be a little bit of he could be the one.
Right, Mark, you're going for Cow for JP and Willie Mullins with Mark Walsh on board, and I'm going to keep it with the Limerick connection. My selection would be Biker. I know it's the 3 of us are going for the top 3 in the market, so it's not very original, but obviously Philip and Charles, it'd be great to see Charles come home with a winner. Obviously he has a favourite in the Stairs Hurdle with Blazing Cal at the moment, but I am selecting Biker. He gets in off as a 1-2-8, and obviously Philip is having a great season as well, so my selection there would be Biker. But he was beaten by Sir Alan by a quarter, just under 2 lengths. But I do think he's been mapped out for this as well. So Billy, you are going for Bad with Rachel Blackmore and Ben Paulin. Mark, you're going for Tikau. That's close enough, that'll do for me. Willie Mullins, Mark Walsh and JP, and I'm going for Biker with Philip and Charles Burns. So boys, that's the Tuesday done and dusted. We'll move on to Wednesday, and we'll start with the Ballymore Novices Hurdle. 1:30 throw in here again. Look, the talking horse here is Impair et Passé. I did French in school, and my French has gone down the drain, and my pronunciation is brutal, so apologies to all the Frenchies out there. So the favourite at the moment is Impair et Passé for Willie. You've Herms Allen with Harry Cobden and Paul Nichols. Goodland 11-2, Gaelic Warrior 11-2, and 6 Bar. Mark, what's your opinion on the Ballymore?
I actually, as I said, done preview last week or week before, and I was sweeting this lad. I thought he might go for the Supreme back then because we didn't know if Fac Oil was going to run. So he won over 2-3 in his maiden, and then he went back to over 2 in the Moscow Flyer. He won well that day. I thought he was very impressive that day. The price is shortened up. When I mentioned him, he was 3-1 and 4-1 in the 2 different races. Now he's 7-4. He was 11-4 only 2 days ago. So yeah, I think the signs are right. The vibes are good out of camp. Anyone out of Mullins camp is not even mentioning Gaelic Warrior, which he's a fair adversary. I think Barry Collins' best chance of the week could be Goodland, but for me I'm going to stick with the Willie Mullins favourite here. I think this could be a cracking race though. Champ Kiley as well in the mix. He's not out of it either, but for me I'm going to go with the favourite here.
Yeah, perfect, Mark. Going to favourite. Bill, what's your selection here?
Yeah, I like Goodland. I thought he was a good winner the last day, and he represents probably a bit of value in the race. Great Mark. Gaelic Warrior probably has to improve again. Looks like he did a good performance to win the handicap last day, but he's in against grade 1 horses here. He probably needs to improve again, and he looks a little bit quirky the way he ran out to his right the last day. Look, Hermes Allen has done nothing wrong, but it's you go back to form then, whether it is strong enough to take on the Irish horses, and probably Goodland is probably the one at a price, and he'll run a good race.
Perfect. Good land so for Barry Connell and Billy. Now if Gaelic Warrior does line up and is declared, he's my selection. Like if you go off the official ratings, he's about 157. Imperial Passé obviously improving massively. I just think at the price I wouldn't see the value in Imperial Passé. But I will be going for Gaelic Warrior each way. Now I'd imagine with bookie jockeys that are not declared yet, it'd probably be Danny or Patrick riding. Would I be right, Mark?
Maybe Patrick. I say he kind of rides the Richie's second string, don't he? Well, okay, either or. They're two good substitutes, aren't they?
Oh, listen, they're not too bad at all. No. But like Gaelic Warrior just hasn't done anything wrong for me this year either, and obviously won at the Dublin Racing Festival. We got 4 lengths to Nibro with Paul on board. So look, I think Gaelic Warrior is the main value in the race, so I'll be going for Gaelic Warrior each way. Moving on there to the next race on Wednesday, the Brown Advisory Novice Chase. Look, listen, it's over 3 miles. 3 miles. Look, I think this is my nap of the week again. No real value. Jerry Colomb for Gordon, roughly roughly 13 to 8 or so. I think it's just a battle for second, third, and fourth in this race. I think it'll be a fair precision. Simple as that. I think Jerry Clom wins hard held. Mark, what's your selection?
I like Time Hill here. Surprisingly, he actually went chasing. He was one of the top Grade 1 staying hurdlers. I think he's bringing real good Grade 1 form into the over hurdles. He boated up on debut, didn't beat a whole pile. Then went to Newbury for Grade 2. Was very sloppy that day. It was on good ground though. And McFabulous beaten by 6.5 lengths. Then he absolutely trounced McFabulous by 15 lengths at Kempton on Stevens' day in the Grade 1 novice. And I just think if he puts in that performance here, he'll surely be in the first three. So for me, he's an each way bet player to nothing.
Time Hill for Philip Hobbs and Michael Nolan. Bill, what's your selection? In your own time though, Bill. There's no panic. In your own time now.
Yeah. Look, I suppose Jerry Clom, he's done nothing wrong, and he looked like he wasn't doing a stroke the last time he won. You know, good performance, and he won in Limerick as well. He kept pulling out on slow ground. He probably looks to want to beat in 6-4. He's probably short enough, and you suppose you have to go chasing, maybe, you know, the each way. Something like Adam had chosen, or Millies or something for each way, but you know, they're both 14-1 there, I think, at the moment, so probably something like that each way.
Perfect, Bill. You're going the same selection as I am, Jerry Clom. Look, I think he's he's bulletproof. Like 7 wins from 7. Won on heavy at Limerick, won a good stop at Sandown. Has been Adam Lee chosen before, obviously, in Limerick. Now, the only thing with Wednesday, I suppose, the ground will definitely be soft on Wednesday. I suppose if it comes up anyway better, would you see any concern for Jerry Clom, Bill, if the ground does come up any better?
Not really, and I don't think it's going to come up. You know, they've got plenty of rain over there, and I know it dries quick, but there'll still be plenty. Should be enough for juicing. Perfect.
And obviously Jordan Gainford has rode him his last 2 wins. I'd imagine
he's been confirmed he rides him.
That's it. Oh, brilliant! Jeez, that's great. It was brilliant. In fairness to Gordon, he's given the young fellas plenty of opportunity, so that's great to hear that Jordan Gainford will keep the ride on Jerry Clom. Moving on there again, lads, so we'll move on to the next race on Wednesday, which is the Champion Chase. Absolute class race, absolutely love it. Edwardstone, Energumene, it looks like a 2-horse race and everyone else kind of fighting it out. My selection is Energumene. I'm completely putting a line through the run the last day in at Cheltenham. The lads, the camp kind of had excuses for him. I do think, look, his record speaks for itself. 10 wins from 13 races. Once you put a line through the last day, I think Energumene is my selection here anyway. What's your selection, Mark?
Yeah, I was of the same opinion till about a week ago. I'm not one for changing my mind. I am. I was actually sweeting this lad last year. He could have been me nap for day 2, I think. If the Clarence Housers ran where it was meant to run, but it was ran in Cheltenham, so for me, I think Edwardstone was the one to take over that race. I think we're all forgetting about Gary Moore's horse, even though it looked like Edwardstone is going to get the better of him from his last run, but I'm going to go with Alan King's Edwardstone here to win the Arca, or win the Champion Chase. I mean, last year's Arca winner, isn't he?
He is, yeah, he is indeed, yeah. And obviously, look, at the moment, there's 9 entered at the moment, so look, I suppose if it stays at the 8 or more, it's an each way proposition for the each way backwards. But Bill, what is your selection there?
I think it's a fascinating race. I think you know, there's only one of 5 could win it, I think.
Okay.
It depends. These 2 milers they're all speed and everything, and they can, if they have any blip at all in them on the day, it get really exposed, because it's the speed they go at, you know, they get really exposed. So
it's an unforgiving race, really.
Yeah, it is. Like, it is, you know, it can be, your fate could be known very early, like, and no, I thought Blue Lord, when he won at Christmas, won well, and then he was a little bit disappointed that he didn't get near Gentleman the Me the last day. Being inclined to forgive it and give him another chance, and see a 10-1 there, he'd probably a little bit of value. But
yeah, I think he might go for the Ryanair though, would he? He's a little entered in both, like, but you're right, I actually fancy him to run well in whatever race he runs in. I think that last run, I think if he runs here, he could be bang on there with each way.
Yeah, Love Energumene, lovely big horse. He was classing it last year, and I actually, Edwardstone, I didn't think he'd be beat last year in the Arkle, and he won well. The slow ground will suit him. he looked like he was going to win the last day, and I actually think he'd given the man too much rope, and he showed his class to pick up those few lengths, get by him, and Gary's more horse tough as nails got back at him. I think, that's where he lost it. He had too much ground to make up, because he was following Energramine, and Energramine didn't lead him into the race, and all of a sudden he'd 5-6 lengths to make up on Edward de Geet. So I think probably Edward Stone.
I think Jockey nearly won the race the last day.
I think so. Yeah, he was very good at it. Yeah. I just think, and it can happen. I just think Tom Cannon was thinking, Energramine is going to take me everywhere. Exactly. I'm going to have one go at him then after the last. And next thing, he didn't go anywhere, and he's left with 6-7 lengths to make up in Edward de Geet.
Yeah, early on though. You got me. He didn't look himself though, did he?
No, I suppose not. Like, and again, 2 miles, any chink in the armour is exposed straight away. You get no chance around there, because.
But Ruby was cool. I can't remember where it was, but he did said that he could put a line through the run that day. So I believe Ruby in that. So just on that, are you going for Blue Lord or are you going for Edwardstone, Bill?
Look, if Blue Lord was in it,
you're going each way.
He'd be each way, but I think Edwardstone is probably
perfect.
The one to beat.
I do think if Gentleman to Meet, the real Gentleman to Meet turns up, which he did in his last year, mother of God. I was in Thurles today. He won his beginner's chase, so he won by 34 lengths to Imbroon Mitage or whatever his name is. The race was over after the first 2 fences. We were all just absolutely blown away. Whoever's in Thurles that day, it was incredible. And obviously he's beaten Edwardstone before at Aintree. So I do think if the real Gentleman does turn up, I do think he will give the 2 front runners or the 2 in the market a hell of a lot to think about. I
think there's just too much for it to go right for him.
Think so, yeah.
Yeah, he got some riding in Leopardstown.
Yeah, he did.
He got saved right off Danny, and Everton went right in the day, and he was exceptional. But anything at all sets him off, and he can put in a stinker. Yeah, no, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. And obviously Danny probably won't be on him for this race. Obviously Mark will probably be on him anyway. So that's fair enough, lads. Look, I'm going for Energramine, and then 2 boys are going for Edwardstone, but Billy's going for Blue Lord if he lines up here. Cross country. Look, again, not massively opinionated on it. I do think it will be precision for Delta Work, class horse in the race. Obviously won it last year. Delta Work for me. That's my selection. Bill, what's yours? I think Galvin will bet.
Do you think so?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you're fairly confident that.
Yeah, I think Galvin
really
will bet. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Delta Work is just they went this way because it wasn't working for him over fences, and he was getting a bit slow. So I think Galvin is last year's Delta Work, and I think he's going to bet.
Jesus, right, okay, fair enough, Bill.
Jesus, I hate to admit this, but I agree with Billy, and I tipped Delta Work last year. I had to repeat myself again, and I tipped him about a week out when he was like 4-1. But I'm sweet in this lad Galvin. I think this could be last year's Delta Work, if you ask me.
Okay.
You see Jamie Codd being interviewed the other day, and he just kept smiling about him. But I think he
must have taken well to the cross country.
Yeah, I'd say there's plenty of school.
Actually, come to think, was that on day at the races?
Yeah.
Actually, now I think of it now, I'm actually raging on Slick Delta. I forgot about that.
Money is not a betting proposition.
No.
2-1. He could Galvin. He could be a bit of value, and look, if you put him in with something else on the day, maybe even bigger value. But for me, Galvin here.
True.
Take the chance at the price.
Now, the reason why I'd be going for Delta Work is obviously he's been there, he's done it, and he has experience over. Now, obviously, Jamie was grinning and smirking the other day when speaking about Galvin, didn't give too much away, which is obviously always a good sign. Obviously, in the official ratings, he's £7 clear of Delta Work, but I am going to stick with Delta Work for the experience, but the 2 boys are going against me with Galvin. That's fair enough, lads. That's the cross country done and dusted, nice and quick. We'll move on to one of the handicaps before we go to the bumper. Right, because again, the bumper this year, whatever reason it is, since I've got into horse racing and properly looked at racing, I actually have no bloody idea about the bumper this year. Last year, we all had a few ideas, a few opinions. I have no clue about the bumper this year. Look, I suppose with the Coral, Mark, have you anything of any interest in the Coral or the Grand Annual?
2 if they run each way. Not going to go really into my. Went down through the form and found little snippets that might give him a chance, so I'm going to go with Before Midnight for Sam Thomas at each way 20-1, and Joseph O'Brien's Embittered. I think if he jumps well and puts in a performance, he was fancied enough for this race last year, running well. He's a grade 3 winner over fences. I think at 25s he could be worth a chance as well. Now, as I said, these handicaps are still to double and even treble entered, but so if one of those turn up, take a chance each way on one of those.
Fair enough, Mark. And Bill, will I stay away from you? Yeah,
just stay away.
That's fair enough. Look, for the Grand Annual myself, I suppose. Look, again, just like Mark there, no real massive opinion on it. If I had to go into my head, I would go with Dan Skelton's Unexpected Party. Look, I think he's in at off 10-11 again. I think he's multiple entries as well, running off 138 and 10-11. He'd be my selection in the Grand Annual. And for the Coral, again, it's an absolute minefield. No real massive opinion as per. And just as I say that, Mark's after opening up his bottle of sparkling water.
They shook this one to get me out of the studio.
Again, I'm going to go with Dan Skelton, Langer Dan. I look Dan, obviously he has his horse as well prepped for the handicaps. So Langer Dan would be my selection in the Carl, but again, there'll be no money put on it for me. And we'll go to the Chevy Bumper, as I just gave it a great lineup there. I have no idea this year. I will go with my selection, which will be Patrick, with fun, only because it's Patrick, it's Willie, and he's bred the horse. Obviously he was very impressive in winning both his bumpers so far. Obviously the story of the race this year is obviously John Kiley and A Dream to Share. Look, again, lads, what's your opinion? Bill, I'll start with you. Have you any real strong opinion on the bumper?
It's, you could have anything of 10 and Superstar could pop out of it. We sort of knew Facile Vega was a machine going into it last year after what he'd done at Leopardstown. But year on year it sort of produce a bit of a shock, didn't it? Like it's not certainty.
Go back relegate and all those.
There's
Willie Mullins one, but
look, A Dream to Share looked good when you won.
It's a great story as well, the Gleasons, isn't it?
It's a great story. And
everyone loves Brian Gleason.
Yeah,
the young lad keeps the ride as well, don't he?
He does,
which is great.
And obviously JP bought it after the run in Leopardstown.
I'd just love to see him winning for John Kiley.
Yeah.
He's a great trainer, and to be great if he won for him.
He's only got a handful of horses in the yard as well. So listen, obviously I think again it's like the love story with I suppose, nearly every day there's a love story. Honeysuckle, you want to win the mares, obviously for the obvious reasons. I think everyone would love to see A Dream to Share win for the Gleasons and John Kiley. Mark, what is your opinion on it?
Yeah, I every year I kind of go back through these and watch them, and every year I kind of make a hames of it really, because they are bumpers. But I like one each way at a price. Western Diago for Willie Mullins. He won a point to point very impressively. Then went to Naas over 2 miles 3. And I thought he was very impressive that day. Patrick rode him that day. A couple of shrewd lads. Steve Parker from Clipper Logistics, a very shrewd man on the flat. He owns him. Boy Westerner, good sire. I think this lad, he could be. He filled the. I think the thing about this bumper is, like most bumpers, you think nearly speed wins, but then when you come here, you have to stay.
Yeah.
And I think this lad will definitely be the one. I think if he picks up the pieces, I think he could be the one. The fact he's won over 2 miles 3, I think, and he won on soft ground. So for me, I'm going to take a chance each way on him. What I will say is I'm going to do the Matt Chapman here now. If anyone's looking for a jockey, Billy Lee will ride.
Do you ever ride in the bumper, Bill?
No. Looks a messy race.
Who was saying the other night? Well, I think it was Jamie Carter saying that the amateurs actually have an advantage in it because they ride in the races so many times. I thought it was a very interesting opinion. Now, just on Western Diego, obviously bet Richard O'Brien's Sutton's Hill by 6.5 lengths in that bumper in Naas, Mark, and he obviously runs today in the maiden hurdle. So obviously if Sutton Hill comes out and absolutely romps that maiden hurdle today, we're all jumping on Western Diego.
Yeah, he's 12-1 at the minute now.
Yeah.
Sutton Hill got well bitten.
He did, though, in fairness. Yeah, no, that was only a shout out to Richard, who is a good friend of the show, and I think probably one of the best characters on Twitter. So everyone go out and follow Richard O'Brien. And this is not paid for by Richard O'Brien. So look, listen, we'll wrap it up there for Wednesday. My selection for the bumper is fun each way, roughly around 9s. Mark, you're going for Western Diego, roughly around the 16 mark each way. And Bill, what you say you're going for?
Look, I think each way again, Better Days Ahead. I think he's probably nearly forgotten 12-1 there. So
Better Days Ahead for Gordon. I wonder, obviously, Jamie probably riding that, will he?
I'd say.
Obviously the jockey.
I'd say Jamie, right?
Yeah, he's rode in his 2 races before and down
He never really always puts Jamie nearly on his fancy bumper.
Does, yeah.
Keeps it, I suppose he's used to them and the whole lot, like, and You can
We'll
tell him a
price
lot
him
about
early,
the
yeah.
race, like, so I think there's no point in switching. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
No, that's it, exactly. Right, lads, we're halfway through there. Billy, you've any jellies left? There's actually not too many jellies
I was
left.
going to say.
Fuck's sake.
That was
I'm slowing down so
so you can do the weight. They were actually meant to be for the three of us, but never mind.
Sorry, I'm off the sweets for Lent anyway.
meeting Mars here.
Right, we'll jump on to Thursday Turners and Novice Chase over 2 mile 3. Again, look, I think it's a class race. I do think Gordon will win it with Mighty Potter again. Not really interested in 5 to 4 favourite. Banbridge appreciated. Sir Gerhard, Stage Star, and roughly 12 Bar. Bill, Turner's Novice Chase, any opinion?
I just don't understand why Sir Gerhard is 6 to 1.
Okay, right, go on, elaborate.
You? Why is there?
Look, Mighty Potter, I'm just going to come out and say it, he's my napper today, but I was looking back actually myself the other day and going down through it, and yeah, Sir Gerhard for me, I think he's definitely way overpriced at 6s, I think, but I think
Sir Gerhard,
yeah, but I'm going to go with Mighty Potter, but like, I wouldn't be surprised, like, as I said, again, it's the first race of the day, so you're getting money back and all losers. So Gerhard could be the bet for nothing there, but for me, I think Mighty Potter, I'm going to make him why he's done over fences. I think he's been exceptional, you know.
I think Sir Gerhard is a possible Gold Cup horse down the line.
Jeez, okay.
And I know he won over 2 miles the last day, but like I think he no problem getting 3 miles. I think he's a class horse.
Okay, that's fair point. Obviously,
No,
Willie.
Mighty Potter won well the last time. You know, he was he was going to the last with 4 or 5 Mullins horses chasing him. But
yeah, that was some race.
You know, like the pressure was probably on. Gordon enjoyed that one because
like
the pressure was on him.
All the guards after, wasn't it?
The cameras were straight to him, and was it Mouse Ryan as well, and they were holding. They were kiss each other.
You know, Gordon felt the pressure of that one. He had to win. He had to win the last day. But I just think Sir Gerhard.
Okay.
I don't understand why.
Looked the eye catcher though in the article.
I did, but I think
I'd
Sir
like to
Gerhard
see him
is
still in the
class.
article though. I know they're saying maybe he's staying on, but like he's got good course for him. He won here last year.
Banbridge.
Yeah, he won.
No, I think he needs a 2 and 5. He was flat out the whole way over the 2 the last day, and I think that Cheltenham had exposed him over 2 miles as well.
Yeah, Martin Pipe is still, I know it's different over hurdles and that like. But,
so, right to wrap it up there. So
I'm going to make Mighty Popper me nap a day.
Nap of the day for you that day. Yeah, look, I'm going to go with Mighty as well. Just the more look at him, Bill, I would agree with you. Just, look, he is great value. Now, just on jockey bookings, Fred, obviously appreciated is there for Willie and Sir Gerhard as well. Obviously, Paul will have the choice. Do you think Paul will go appreciated, or will he go with Sir Gerhard, Bill?
I think there's something wrong with Sir Gerhard.
Yeah.
I think he's going to pick him. I'd be surprised.
That'd be a tip in itself if he picks him, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, he won't be what?
The shorter in the betting, isn't
he? He appreciates roughly around the 4s and Sir Gerhard the 7s, roughly. With all your local bookmakers, mainly Biles. That's my tenor on getting off Biles. I'm taking that one off Mark. So listen, Bill, you're going with Sir Gerhard, and myself and Mark are going with Mighty Potter. So that was the Turner's Novice Chase. We'll go to the Ryanair Chase now. Again, I love the race. It is, look, obviously Shiskin tops the market there around the 5 to 6 mark. Blue Lord is entered in the Ryanair as well. Jandel, Fury Road, Envoy Allen, and 16 Bar. Look, I think if Shiskin turns up the last day that he did, and Nico was obviously very, very bullish on him. He said he plenty more left in him. He will win in my eyes. Now the only thing is, why are they going for Ryanair, not for the Gold Cup? If they do think he still has all that ability in him, should he not be going for the Gold Cup? But look, I do think he will win here. Again, 5 to 6, not really anyway exciting. Bill, what's your opinion on Shishkin and he'd run the last day?
I thought he was impressive the last day, and he was after coming back off a wind up.
Yeah.
Which probably could have been the issue all along. Look, he'll have no bother getting the trip. He'll have no bother. I'd say get 3 miles. I suppose Nicky's worried would he get the extra 2.5 furlongs. I'd say. Look, it looks to me like he's the one to beat if he turns up the same horse. But I'd say he will, because I'd say the wind up is after probably doing the trick for him.
Okay. Mark?
Yeah, I remember when Siskin won, I was on the phone to you, I remember about an hour later, and I said, Jesus, that was the most impressive national race of the year. We were chatting away, but
you said that last day?
to Billy, when we were actually, it was a Saturday, and we're
Did you go for sleep and imagine this conversation?
one time he actually answered the phone. But like, I don't know, can he be trusted? And
That's where my only concern
I
is.
think 20 quid on Blue Lord, second or third to the SP Fab again. He's the one at fives. Look, Billy was saying like he might go for
He probably will go for that because he got a little bit outpaced.
Yeah.
last
And I
end
think
so.
there ain't that much in behind. Mouse's horse might run alright. Hitman, he could run alright for Paul Nichols, but I think with Blue Lord I'm going to take a chance here. Look, Siskin puts in, this is the question, right? He either puts in the performance that he did the last day and he wins,
Bolts up.
or else he was like he was in the champion chase last year.
I don't think we'll see that.
No, I don't think that,
Yeah,
but
no.
what about pushing him out to the line? What do you think about that? Would you have pushed him to the line? Like, some people take positives from that and some people say it's a negative. Do you know the way
To which?
the way you pushed him out to the line when he was well clear of the second horse?
Sure, I suppose he was on his soft ground. He was keeping him up to his work.
Mm.
I don't like he wasn't going to him. I just think that the operation is probably after work.
Yeah.
And, to significant that he got it straight away after. It's not big enough that it's a concern, but it was because he was back quick enough.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, but it was a procedure that probably it needed and it's corrected, and he's
I think this is going to be a great hindsight race. I think if he balls up, we would say, sure, look what he done. If he balls out, we'll be like, look.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a hindsight race. I'm going to take a chance at Blue Lord, second or third to the SP Fab.
yeah.
Perfect, right. Do you know what? I'm going to change my mind here a small bit. Conflated.
It's not right in there, Gary.
I know I'm after scribbling it out. Conflated at 16s, roughly. I think it's 16s with Biles, Mark, yeah? I think obviously Beck came by about 5 lengths at Christmas time.
Is he not going for the Gold Cup?
He could go for the Gold
He
Cup.
conflated going for the Gold Cup.
But
I
then
thought he
again,
was.
yeah, I think he could win.
But see, that's where I come across again, obviously, with
Did
Tony.
he not say? Did he not?
Did he?
Gordon not say lately he ran him in the wrong race last year.
In the goal, he ran
the
He's not good enough to win the Gold Cup anyway.
the Ryanair last year.
yeah, and he said he ran him
He's
in the wrong
going to
race.
Gold Cup, I
Yeah, I
think.
thought
He's definitely going to Gold Cup,
I
is
thought
he?
he
Well,
was
he's
going
not
to Gold Cup.
100%, but I'm nearly certain I heard he was going for the Gold Cup.
Right.
And
Well,
he
look.
had some weird dreams lately, like so.
Oh, I don't know what your dreams
I
are.
don't want to know about.
Look, if he goes here, which obviously, look, you're saying he's not now. Look, I think at 16 he's great value. But look, he's not going to win a Gold Cup. He'll run for place in the Gold Cup. So just at the prices, I think he'd be worth each value. If he doesn't go here, just like Billy, you've gone for Blue Lord in the Brown Advisory, wasn't it? But you're going to go for him here if he runs here.
Yeah.
Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah.
I'd be the same. If Conflate doesn't go here, I'm going with Shishkin. If Conflate goes here, I'm going each way 16s. Mark, you're going Blue Lord, 11-2.
With the Boyle Sports offer, finishing second or third to the SP Fab, you get your money back.
This has been a
For 20
sponsored
quid.
post brought to you by Boyle Sports. No, this is actually not a sponsored post by Boyle Sports, and he's not getting paid by Boyle Sports today either, so let's clear that
No,
up.
this is my own opinion. I just put that offer.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's my own opinion, yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect, fair enough, lads. And it's all about a game of opinion. So look, listen, the stairs. And we have to give a shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, bit of an enigma, Icy. The man that is Icy has literally thrown his whole house on Blaze and Cal with Charles and Philip this year. Obviously returning Navan the last day was very impressive. Now the vibes coming up from Charles, he even spoke this morning with Nick Luck on Racing TV. Then he did pick up a knock and a small bit of an infection the last day. It didn't go to the bone, and his work since then hasn't been great. But we all know Charles, and we'll take that with a pinch of salt. Before I go into my opinion, Mark, what is your opinion on the stairs?
I think this is some race.
Class race, class.
First of all, this festival this year, I think is like every year we have great races and a whole lot. And normally we've one or two, but I think the championship races this year, you've 3 or 4 in every race that are you're just looking forward to.
Gary getting the rest of
Gary's
the
going for the
jellies.
jellies. This is why
You better finish
you
them,
don't
Gary,
realise-
because I'm going to keep
You
eating.
don't realise
Hey.
how small.
I'm a good finisher, don't worry about that.
But the jellies are going to get dead here.
Right, I have 4 jellies here, so you have to speak for about 2 minutes while I eat
Right,
these, alright?
I think Teopo, he's definitely the one here. I think the run, the Hatton's Grace, you could clearly see the step up. He was fancied for the champion hurdle last year. He was actually my each way selection, the champion hurdle last year. And I was watching Robbie Power the other day on the Boyle Sports preview. But Gary's joking on his gummies there.
Definitely are getting paid. So.
Not you that's paying me now. But I think Tiofu, I think he could be the one. He's the one for me here, especially with the soft ground. He was 4-1 the other day. They're clipping him now again, and of course the ground is coming in. Florian Porter, he's some price of 5-1. Home by the Lee, of course, he's been beaten Florian Porter. Home by the Lee, I think I tipped him each way in this race last year, 33-1. As I said, he's one of those horses where I've backed him every time that he hasn't won, and he's been an absolute revelation this year. Joseph O'Brien, he's his father's son. He's done nothing wrong. Classical Dream was favourite for last year, but I think Tiofu, Classical Dream from the second Galmai last year, I'm still favourite for this race. Tiofu absolutely hosed up. Now I know he didn't beat a whole pile, but he just looked so in his comfort zone stepping up to 3 miles and the soft ground. So the ground wouldn't want to dry out too much. It's not going to dry out too much. It's going to be juice in the ground. Just trying to get through. I think Gary's swallowing his last jelly there now. But for me, Tiofu here, I think he's the one. I think he's definitely
Tiofu for Stairs for Mark. Perfect. Bill, what's your...
Could be one of Davy Russell's last winners in Cheltenham.
Yeah, fair point actually, yeah. Bill, go on.
Cracking race, as you said. Again, you know, Blazing Cal has looked good. Probably the strength of the opposition. You'd question that he's taken a lot tougher opposition in a championship race around Cheltenham. So, you know, 3-1 looks fairly short about him. Home by the Lee, I thought, you know, tough, hardy. My only question with him is, will he get tapped for toe maybe a little bit when the race quickens in earnest? There's 4 or 5 there you could make a case for. I think in this race, Tehipu has looked good. He's been impressive. 3 miles. Has he tackled 3 miles? He did the last. And he looked like, you know. To be fair, Davey made sure he drove him out to the line as well that day, and he looked like he stayed well. So I think, you know, the trip is not going to be a worry. Gavin Conwell he's very cautious about Florian Porter. He don't think he has him back to 100%. I think,
I was watching the thing that Gavin did today. There was a little niggle with him, but and they said he kind of got it right. But you hear a lot of that.
You do, but you're not cautious, like, you know what I mean. Like,
trainers are cautious, like Charles this morning saying that about Blazing Cal. I would take it with a pinch of salt as well. Very rarely trainers, unlike if you're Barry O'Connell, you come out and actually say what you say. I do think that, especially at Leopardstown, Florian Porter was taken on. He was challenged. Now, Florian Porter usually gets to run the race. I think I'm not going to say he's been found out in that sense. He's still a class horse, so I'd be basically throwing him out of the race. I don't think he can win it. I don't think Home to Lee has the class to win it. Marie's Rock, if she went here, she has a right chance, but obviously she'd probably go to the Mayor's Hurdle. I'm going to go with Classical Dream. Was only beaten in neck the last day by Tehipu. Tehipu was roughly 4s. Classical Dream is more than double the price of 10s. I think if Paul can settle him, obviously at the start, and get him down there nice and sweet, I do think 10s about Classical Dream is a cracking price. And obviously it was 5th last year, but only 5 lengths away, so it isn't a massive amount to make up, because obviously once the horse settles, I think he's a proper class horse at the race. So Classical Dream at 10s is my selection. Mark, you're going with Tehipu, and Bill, you didn't actually even say who you were going for. You named 5 or 6 horses there.
There is.
You can't name 5 or 6, Mark. You have to pick one.
You have to pick one. Yeah. I keep it local. I think while he hasn't the form, I think Blazing Cal could be the most improver. Looks a fine big horse, and he could be just the one that improves to be the new star on the block.
So Billy and Icy are going for Blazing Cal. That's fair enough. Classical Dream for Gary, and Tehipu for Mark. Mark, you going each way? Or you going win?
I know, man. This
win on it.
Smash him, I'm telling you.
Mother of God, we're definitely going to clip that sound out.
Should be on.
Well, if you think he should be favoured, why is Classical Dream 10 so? Is it because...
Look at Classical Dream. What did they win over? 2-3, was it? What was the Hans Grace? 2-3?
2-3, yeah, just over 2-3, yeah. But Classical Dream gets to 3, we know that.
Yeah, but Tehipu looked like he was going to go by him the further the event. I think we have a match bet just along with Classical Dream. Tehipu ain't going to be a 3 or 4 winner.
Do you want to have a small little match bet?
Well, we can't really bet money, like, but we'll...
No, we won't. We'll do some forfeit or something.
Yeah, we'll do something like... Can't really say wear a dress, probably because I've worn too many of them in my time, but we'll look at some. But I think Mark, this one could be the one.
Mark, formerly of Boyles.
Yeah. It's an open world now, you know. We'll come up with something for this now, because I think, well, no.
No, I do.
I'll just go on the match bet now. I was maybe the lens like.
Yeah, look, listen, we'll talk when we put up on Twitter there on the day, but we'll think of something.
We'll do it on the day, and we'll have something.
Yeah, we'll do it for some charity as well. That's perfect, right? That's fair enough. Look, we'll move on there. We'll move on to the Mayor's Novice Hurdle, right? Again, love novice races. I think the novice races at Cheltenham are absolutely class. Was it last year I read a stat that only two British horses finished in the top 5 at all the novice races last year. It was, I can't remember what it was, but obviously Lucia for Nicky and Nico lead the market here around the 74 mark. Ashrow Diamond, Lot of Joy, You Wear It Well, Magical Zoe, Princess Zoe, and then 16-18's Bar. That Lot of Joy has been very disappointing for Willie after coming from Sweden, wasn't it? Got bet twice. Doesn't do a hell of a lot. Actually does absolutely nothing when it goes out to the front. I think at 8, I think there's no value there. Ashrow Diamond, obviously, Paul would obviously ride Ashrow Diamond, I'd imagine.
Ruby, I lost Ruby the other day, and he's sweet enough in that Lot of Joy.
Really?
He was like, Jesus, Paul might pick him. Pick
okay.
her.
No, she gets the mayor's allowance here, but
she was 12-1 or something last week. She's 7-1 now.
Yeah.
Lucia looks fairly good, but 13-8, and some of these favourites are going to get beaten. I'm going to go just kind of nearly on the hand over heart, really, because it's known as the Jack de Bromhead Mayor's Novice Hurdle this year. Foxy Girl each way at 16s.
Right.
She was second behind Liberty Dance on debut and bolted up in an 18-hour maiden on Stephen's Day. She beat Willie's In Excess that day, who went on and absolutely hosed up since, and was actually fancy to run each way in some of these novice hurdles. So I think if Foxy Girl, depends on how many run here, you might get an extra place in the race. You're definitely going to get 3, if not 4 on the day. So it's 16-1 or that. And of course there'll be some story if Henry Bromhead could win this race and not on Jack. Magical Zoe for him as well is not out of it, but look, Lucia looks very good, but I'm going to take her on each way with Foxy Girl.
Phil?
To be honest, it's just hadn't a race I'd been following. Wouldn't have a big opinion on it. Again, like to see either Magical Zoe or Foxy Girl run a big race.
Yeah.
You know, because just of it being the Jack de Bromhead Mayor's Novice, and just for Henry that they'd run well, or one of them might win, it'd be a great story.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Look, yeah, again, I echo both of you there, lads. I'd love to see Magical Zoe or Foxy Girl win. I am going to go with Princess Zoe. Again, it's more kind of a story, obviously the story behind it. Again, that man, Tony Mullins, he's like some crack on Twitter. I just
some crack in general, though.
and he was on Paddy Power. Sorry, no, I mentioned Paddy Power. Sorry. He was on a preview show the other night, and obviously all in behind stuff he does. And I'm going to give a shout out to Dave Kenna, actually.
He's a good man.
Cheers, Dave is an absolute gentleman, and the content he puts out there on social media as well.
Very knowledgeable guy.
Come across Dave a good few times with my workings here with Iconic, and he did kind of an update there with Princess Zoe, his last bit of work. I think they were out in the Curragh or somewhere.
Watched that actually.
Yeah. So look, Princess Zoe at 16s, obviously getting to £5 against, I suppose, the main leaders in the market. Danny Ryden, I think Danny is probably the second best jockey in the country, in my opinion. He thinks he's a class act. Tony's a class act. The horse, obviously, everyone fell in love with her last couple of years on the flat. So look, I'm going with Princess Zoe. Roughly around the 16s each way, my selection. Mark, you're going with Foxy Girl, and Billy, I'm just going to say you're going to go with Foxy Girl or Magical Zoe. If you had to pick one of them.
Look, Mark has gone with Foxy Girl. I'll go with Magical Zoe this
Look at the colour of my hair, like.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit again, I should call it Foxy getting a little bit grey, girl.
And again, look, listen, obviously the horse, or the race named after Jack de Bromhead, and obviously look, we all send our condolences obviously to the Bromhead family for what they went through, but look, the whole racing world is behind them. Look, fingers crossed Mark or Billy are right with their selections for this one. Look, we'll go on to the handicaps here now, the Pertemps and the Kim Weir. Not massively overly worried about Kim Weir. We'll touch on it briefly. Pertemps is, I think, it's a class race every year. Obviously, nearly every horse is bloody lined out for nearly 2 years out in advance. JP leads the market with Thanks for Help for David Pipe. Percival Legallo, that's close enough for Gavin Cronwell. Maxim there from Gordon as well. Look, it's an absolute puzzle of a race every year. Mark, I'm sure you have an opinion on it.
The Pertemps, yeah, I have actually 2 jotted down here. Nicky Henderson's Captain Morgs, he was last seen in over the course of distance. I think he's about 16 to 1, and one that really caught the eye. It wasn't a very deep race, but it was a Pertemps qualifier. Hosed in was David Pipe in the colours of JP McManus. Thanks for the help, getting smashed in the betting again, 11 to 2. So David Pipe, we all know what him and his dad can do with these hands. And had a wind up before his last run, so again positives there, so that could be the one I think there for another winner for JP on the week, who I think is absolute certainty to be champion owner.
Oh well, definitely 100%, yeah, definitely will, more than likely. Thanks for help for Mark. Bill, I'll just jump away from you. I think so. You're having your homework done, even though you got plenty in advance known in time, so I'm going to take that away from your appearance fee.
Kim Muir is just no opinion on that.
I'm going to skip to Kim Muir as well, and Justice will look on the Pertemps. I'm going to go for Good Time Johnny and Tony Martin. Look, I do think he's coming out at 11.9, 142. I think he's behind the weights, but obviously since he won in Leopardstown, how long ago was that now? That's February 2022. I do think he's come down a small bit in the weight. He's come down 4 pounds, I think, since that. And look, everyone knows Tony and how well.
He's a claimer. He's a good claimer. Yeah. Rode in Galway for him.
Lee McKenna, was it?
Yeah,
Lee McKenna.
Because he hasn't rode a whole. He might be keeping. I think he's still 7.
Yeah, he's down to 5 now.
Is he,
yeah, he's down to 5 because he rode.
If he puts a claimer on him, I think it's definitely one to take note, because he's definitely trying to shade the extra pounds off him.
Yeah, so look, listen, I'm going to go for a Good Time Johnny here. Again, no massively strong opinion, just basically the connections to it. And look, we're going to skip the Kim Muir. Right, the final day, we're on to it. The Triumph, 130, the flag falls. 2 miles, 78 grand to the winner. Look, it looks like Willie has this sewn up and wrapped up. It's just which one of them is going to win. I'm going to go with Blood Destiny. I wasn't lousy mouth camp there all along, but just the vibes coming off Ruby and Willie and a few other people from the camp there the last few months is this lad. And David Casey, actually, I can't remember where he spoke, but he says this lad here, he's an absolute machine. Look, I'm going to go Blood Destiny here. Nothing really too fancy about 74 Fav. Mark, what are you going for here?
I'm going to stick with Lassimo. I think she's the strongest form coming in, definitely by a mile. Gets obviously the mayors of the fillies allowance. Blood Destiny has looked very, very good, but hasn't run again. The opposition, Lassimo, has won. Lassimo, I got actually information for this before ran debut.
Did you, Mark? Because I never got that text.
My phone was broke. That
was it? Yeah.
I done an anti-post bet with her, and it was on her at 10s, and I won't even tell you the second selection because
No, you have to tell us now. Go on.
Yeah, well, I had Impera Paris in the Supreme, so obviously that double is gone by the wayside. But it was I think Lassimo definitely take her out of the Dublin Race Festival Gardamas, so she, in my eyes, should be second favourite. Look, Blood Destiny, there must be some signs at home.
Yeah.
For the way this lad's getting hammered. I was going to go Comfort Zone each way, but it's not in the 5-day decks came out today or something, and it's not in it, so I mustn't run. Milton Harris's Scriptwriter was only beaten a head or a neck by Comfort Zone in that Triumph trial. And I think he terrible run the last day, but only for that at 25s could be way overpriced. But for me, I'm going to go Lassimo. Lassimo
for Mark. Blood Destiny for Gary. Bill, what's your selection?
Same, Lassimo. She should be unbeaten. Just messy rest last year, and they got around her, and he got shuttled right back. And she still nearly came up and got the gal in Marceau after being then pushed right 6 wide turning in, so she got a bad trip round. She'd have been odds on if she hadn't been beaten. Same, the Blood Destiny must be blowing them away at home, but we can only go with what we've seen on the track, and I think Lassimo is the better for
it. With the second turn the betting.
And I think getting the £7 is going to be a big factor as well, especially for 4
fair enough,
especially from both of them, even Garlamar. So look, Blood Destiny, Sir Alan beat Sir Alan in the maiden. If he runs all right in the Tuesdays and the Boodles, he could be a sign here as well.
Mark, there's usually 4 places for. Is there 4 places for the Triumph? Is there?
Depends on how many declare. Most of the time it'd be 3 because it's a graded race. It's not a handicap.
Okay.
But like if it goes over the line, it could be.
Should get out your higher ups then.
Yeah, can you? The only reason I'm saying that is
we have a couple of every day there'll be extra place races, so it could be one of those depending on how many run like to get.
Yeah.
So
no, because if there was 4 places, I definitely have a go at Zenta.
Zenta, exactly. Yeah, there's definitely going to something at a big price keeping the top 3. Like I don't think there's some race to Triumph, which is normally a weak enough race, but like look at the top 4 in the betting.
Fair bit of depth.
Like if it wasn't for him in this, maybe, it's a strong race.
No.
Just Willie Mullins, I think Willie Mullins will definitely win it, aren't you?
Yeah, no, 100%. Listen, there'll be no rate, there's no price. I'm backing Willie to win the race, but look, I do think Blood Destiny will win for me. Last time out 42 buys, but Zenta, if any firm is doing 4 places on the day, look, she won't go off 16s. She'll definitely go off shorter, but she'll definitely be in each way value. Right, we'll move on there. On Friday, we'll go to the Albert Bartlett. Look, again, there's a fair bit of depth in it, 4-1 to 5 at the moment. Corbett's Cross for Emmett Mullins, obviously mightily impressive. Winning the last day in Naas with Dun and Myler on board. Then look, you have 3 card bag, Embassy Gardens, Hidden Valley Lake and 12 Bar. Mark, what is your thoughts here?
Right, first of all, you're going to get definitely need an extra place or 2 on this race.
How many's entered at the moment? 28, 34, 35,
yeah, I like
34.
20s from Paul Nichols' yard. Stay away from Faye. It won a point and then came to Newbury and won a novice by 5 and was very unlucky, I think, in a grade 2 novice at Doncaster last day. I think there'll be more to come from him. I see Harry Cobden's already jocked on him. If Harry rides him, I think he'll definitely take a bit of. He'll definitely should be in the frame, I think, anyway. You know, at 20-1, definitely worth taking a chance here. Corbett's Cross is very, very short.
Yeah.
Like, let's face it, if 20 or more line up here, you're not going to go with a 3-1 shot.
No.
The vibes are very good about 3 car brag from Gordon Elliott, and McNeil family definitely deserve. I don't think they've ever had a Cheltenham Festival winner.
Have they not?
I don't think so.
Jeez, okay.
Like and now they've horses with Willie and Gordon. Adrian Hiskin is their stable jockey. Very good rider.
Yeah.
Very good rider. He's an Olympic man as well, is he? Bill? Is Adrian Hiskin? He started out with Michael Horrigan anyway.
Yeah,
so.
he did,
Michael Horrigan, legend.
Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't deny 3 car brag. At the prices, he's 9-2. If he went out to 6 or 7-1, it could be definitely a nice little bet. But for me, stay away Faye. Okay. Stay away from Faye.
Is your selection there perfect, Mark?
Hopefully they'll be all staying away from her, and she'll be.
Bill, talk to me.
I'd like Monty Star on this each way. 14's there at the moment. One well in Clonmel looked like it needed every yard of the trip and got up the, a stiff finish in Clonmel, got up the hill well. Like it beat Hidden Valley Lake, and that's 8-1.
Yeah.
So obviously I think this fella could run a good race, and it depends then. Come Friday, God knows what the ground is going to be like. It depends on the weather.
That's the real day.
If they get rain during the week and you're coming to Friday and it's soft ground, you're definitely going to get unusual results. Always happens. So I'm just going to go with something I thought would go on the ground if it did turn up soft, and a bit of a price Monty Star there.
That's fair enough. Monty Star there, 14-1 for Bill. I'm going to go to Embassy Gardens. Again, very original Paul. I've probably ride Embassy for Willie. Beat Kilbree Warrior the last day by 35 lengths. Now look, obviously Kilbree Warrior's no superstar, but she's no mug either. Obviously, he was beaten by Goodland in Leopardstown. That was over 2 mile 4, and then obviously didn't win a maiden hurdle either over 2. So I just think the step up and trip obviously to the 3 will really suit Embassy Gardens, and Paul I think has spoken already that he's going to ride anyway. So look, I'm going to MC Gardens around the 7s, Monty Star each way for Bill, for Henry 14s, and stay away from Mark. Stay away Faye.
Yeah, stay away from Mark.
Stay away from Mark. 25-1 for Paul
Kids,
Nichols.
stay away from Mark.
That's perfect. So
I didn't even have any jellies. I'm getting abused.
you said you're off him. I'm going to skip Gold Cup. We'll leave that till the very last. We'll go to the Mayor's Chase, and
He's thrown us into the deep end there, isn't he?
we'll go to the Mayor's Chase. Look, again, I do love these races. Allegor de Vassi for Willie 64 leading the market. Impervious for Conor Murphy, Jeremy's Flame Magic Days, and Zambella 20 Bar. Now, I think Allegor de Vassi, all it has to do is all she has to do is jump around. But again, a fair point was made by Mick Fitzgerald the other day on a podcast. If you look at all her runs in France, her runs are on left-handed tracks. She was always jumping to her right very badly. Do you think that, Mark, in that sense, or Bill, in that sense, now, when a horse has a bad jumping, I suppose, habit, does that make much of a difference when you're on them?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially around Cheltenham, because when you get up to the top of the hill and you turn down the back in Cheltenham, it's nearly like you're always turning down around the back. So she's jumping right, she's going to be given away.
It's not like in a straight where you can make up the ground, but
yeah. Like you're slightly, no, it's not much, but you're always slightly on the turn down the back.
Okay.
If she starts jumping out to her right down there, should be a race over for her, I think.
Now Willie has Dulcita and Ellie May in it. Do you think, or Willie will try to get a bit of cover for Paul and Allegor de Vassi?
Look, if she puts in a good round of jumping and she won't be beat, I think.
Yeah.
She looked very impressive. She looks like she's winning with her head in her chest. But yeah, if she starts doing that, jumping right, it's a big worry. And the fortunate thing about that is you're not going to know until the race is off.
That's a fair point, yeah, exactly. Now look, would I be right in saying that your selection would be Allegor de Vassi there, but to be taken with caution?
Yeah, caution. Yeah, but yeah. I do, like, there's not a big amount of runners in it. She might get away with it.
Yeah.
She won't be taken on early or something, and she might get a handy enough lead, and she might only do it over the last couple when the pressure comes on. Yeah. She mightn't have given away too much by then.
That's fair enough for Allegor de Vassi. Mark, what is your selection here?
Look, Allegor de Vassi, if the jumping out to the right doesn't impede her too much on the day, I think she is a touch class ahead of these. Impervious seems to be absolutely getting hammered, and of course JP runner Conor Murphy back in the training ranks. He's one to note, but the one I go for each way is Magical Days for Henry de Bromhead at 10 to 1.
You must have read my notes, Mark.
Look, when you were eating your jellies, I kind of thought I'm going to get ahead of him. But I think Magical Days each way at 10 to 1 is a savage bet. But look, Allegor de Vassi I think will win if she jumps fairly okay, which the right man is on board anyway, Paul. But can you stop her herself? That's the question. But she looks impeccable. But Magical Days each way as well.
My selection would be Magic Days as well. No, I'll be taking it with caution. Like, there's 9 entered at the moment. If you get 8 lined up, obviously you get each way 3 places. I'll be taking Magic Days then each way around the 10th mark. If it does cut up to obviously 7 or less, I wouldn't be having a bet. And I do think Allegor de Vassi is obviously the class horse of the race, should win and will win if the jumping to the right isn't majorly affected. But at 64, I won't be taking that caution or that insurance with. So Magic Days each way is my selection there for the Mayor's Chase on the last day at Cheltenham. Right, we'll go to the County Hurdle and the Martin Pipe. We'll touch on it really quickly before we jump on to the big one. County Hurdle, Mark, what is your opinion here?
The County Hurdle, no.
Obviously you're not prepared for this, Mark.
What Billy for this one? Did we do the County Hurdle? Oh yeah. I sound like a broken record here with Paul Nichols in these handicaps. Time for a tune each way. Won a Lista bumper at Cheltenham. He's only run 5 times over hurdles, which is, I like that kind of thing. And he was last seen. He won a 14 runner novice hurdle. I think there's definitely still more to come here. So at 20 to 1, could be definitely an each way player.
Perfect, fair play. You have more confidence in Paul Nichols this week than Johnny Deneen does.
I just think with the handicaps this year, I think
they just might have been better handicapped. Might have been better prepared for
handicaps. I just think with the handicaps, maybe
sorry, actually, my stat earlier on was wrong, and it's actually for the handicap hurdles. The Brits only had 2 horses finish in the top 5 of all the handicap hurdle races last year at Cheltenham. So take that with a small bit of
The
caution.
Brits.
Yeah, the UK. Yeah. Now, obviously, this year, like we don't have time today to touch on obviously the whip or the handicap system. Obviously, with the chasers, obviously in the UK the last few months, the British horses for handicaps chases are a hell of a lot more handicap better this year than they have in the last couple of years. But I'll be taking a bit of caution with the Brits. And the handicap hurdle races, but you have more confidence in Paul Nicholls than Johnny Deneen does, and if anyone follows Johnny Deneen and up in the ante on Twitter will know that Paul Nicholls will have no winners, says Johnny Deneen.
Did you watch that thing where they went to the pub together and hashed it out?
I did, yeah, it was very good.
Is it?
It is very good. Johnny Deneen.
Johnny he's kind of taken the racing world by storm this year, isn't he?
Johnny has taken over for me. No offence, Icy or Richard O'Brien, they're my two favourite accounts. Johnny Deneen is by far my favourite human being on the planet. He is just some crack.
His opinion it's very, and he'll have a constructive argument.
Yeah.
He's not just like right,
no insulting or anything either.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And I'll eat my words, but that's the way he is.
You saw him. Did you see him the other night in the Star Sports?
Well, something sports.
Something sports.
He went to take on the bet, and your man chickened out, didn't he?
Two 16k bets. You see that, Bill?
No.
He went to have 16k on Mighty Potter, was it?
Betting firm, like they say, they lay all these big bets. Just that's what they do. Like let's lay all these big bets, and like Johnny Dean used to be bookmaker, but now he's just a punter. But he puts out there what he does, and he'll tell you like, I lost everything today or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes. So he was doing a preview, and
A live preview that the whole world was watching.
I'm not putting you on the spot here now, because your man was on about whatever we lay this and lay that, and he goes, I want to have 2 bets for the festival. I'm going to have him with someone, but if you'll take him. Mighty Potter and El Fabiola, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And
16k in each.
16k in each. I was like,
Seven.
just we wouldn't have a bit like that. We'll talk to you after. And he goes, no, I'm not putting you in the spot. You were just saying like, that kind of way. He goes,
Yeah, he's some crack. He is Johnny Janini. Is some crack.
You knew well what he was that too as well. Like, you know,
Oh,
like,
100%.
I'm not putting you on the spot, but here's the red lamp in your face kind of thing.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I know he's very good. No, in fairness, I'd say the first preview in Yall, I'd say it was very good. He's from Yall, so I'd say.
Sure, Jez, he did about 20. He did about 20 previews this year.
I'd say he's gambling for free with the entrance fee and all.
That's it, yeah, exactly. I think he was over in Dubai and everything with Charles.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to go for Winter Fog here. Just look, obviously it's Willie, Patrick rode, Kieran Callan, rode him at Leopardstown at Christmas, bet Palace Rock by 7 lengths or so. Just a nice little story here. Patrick obviously came out of Emmons Yard, and Patrick's friends, he recommended the horse to Patrick Mullins' friends, and they own the horse now. So look, I think there's still a bit of a juice in him in the pricing, or in his weight. Look, he was 10s, 12s, bit of each way value there for the county. Mark, Bill, will I stay away from you for the county? Or
yeah.
Did you ride this race? What handicap did you ride in?
Cardle.
The car.
How'd you go, Bill?
I finished about mid-division.
Mid-division,
Yeah,
alright, okay.
Finished about mid-div. Got ran away with it.
And that was the day he decided to go back on the flat.
We've an exclusive of Billy about the transition there later on during the year.
Sure. Look, it's like Stateman won it last year. He was obviously an exception. Like, you know, I don't know, is there one in it? Like, Emmett Mullins is the favourite again. He looks.
Emmett Mullins' horses, I think, are a little bit underpriced, or like they're always
Yeah,
there's no value.
No, it's kind of like a Charles horse or
Gordon,
look, he was second in the Betfair hurdle, and that's fair going for, you know, an Irish horse to be in that race anyway. So certainly, because it's a tough race. He looked like he was going to come to win, and he just couldn't get by the winner that day. But he ran well. Look, 5's a short in a race like this, and look, you'd probably just have to look each way. But I don't have much of an opinion on that.
That's fair enough, Bill. That's fair enough. Look, we'll jump straight into the Martin Pipe before we go to the Gold Cup. Just really quickly, look, I think Imagine enough. 11.6, 139 for Gordon. I think he's absolutely thrown in at the ratings. Roughly on 6-7s. You probably get your 6-7 place on this. Spanish Harlem leads the market for Willie. But no, Imagine around 7s is my each way pick there. Mark, yourself?
Right, I have 2 on this because one of them, I don't know where she's going to go, but I'm sweeting this one wherever she goes. Willie Mullins, Mayor, Hachi Ware's her name. I thought Danny was very good in her last day. She took a little bit of a penny to drop this one to win her maiden. I think she was 5 runs in before she won her maiden. Then she bolted up in Fairy House by 15 lengths. Then she went and won a Mayor's listed novice hurdle in Punchestown over 2 miles 5. But I thought that day she won by a length and a quarter, and she beat a well-touted Gordon Elliott runner. She could be anything, who's a bit of a yardstick in these kind of novice races this year. and Henry Brown is a growth of choice. She's entered in 2 races, so wherever she turns up, she's entered in the Coral Cup and she's entered in the Martin Pipe, so I think she's a cracking player each way. If she runs in the Coral Cup, I think she's in off a better weight. And then the other one I'm going to go with is Gordon Ellis Rianne.
Rianne.
She beat the favourite for this in Torres by half a length, Spanish Harlem. But he had, he'd won a handicap hurl in Cork, beating San Salvador, who also opposes here, by 2 3/4 lengths, very impressively that day, over 2.5. Didn't put in a poor performance in Punchestown and was nearly last, so I would have put line through that in a Grade B hurdle, but didn't bounce back in Torres and beats Barla Sharlam, who's 5 to 1 for the race.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
You're getting 20 to 1 in Rianne. As you said, Gary, you're going to get extra places in this. So, look, if Willie Mullins may turn, 2 of these I'm going to back each way in the race if they turn up here, but Willie Mullins, just watch out for her in case she runs in the Coral Cup.
Fair enough. And obviously in the presenting party colours for Philip Reynolds, who was.
And I have a good record in this race.
Well, that's the most important thing to all the listeners out there.
I think I've tipped the winner of this for the last 4 or 5 years, including Galloping the Champs at a massive price 2 weeks out before the festival.
Well done, Mark. Listen, give yourself a clap in the back for that, Mark.
No,
Good man. Yeah.
I got no jellies, only fizzy water that nearly drowned me, but anyway.
And I did shake it up beforehand. Right, here we go. The Gold Cup, the finale. We're on the home straight here. We're turning in for home. I think we're all lingering out the back of the telly here at the moment, the 3 of us, but we will jump straight into it. Look, again, I can't remember the last time I seen a favourite as short for the Gold Cup. Galloping the Champ, 7-4 for Willie, Paul obviously right, Brave Man's Game, Plutarch, Noble Yates, Statler, Conflated, and 16 Bar. Bill, I'm going to go start with you.
Yeah. The
professional jockey, under professional opinion, what wins the race?
Look, Gavin Shams has done nothing wrong. He'd have been Cheltenham over fences. He'd have bolted up last year. I don't know. There's something telling me like it's a bridge too far from him. He's looked good. And he done everything impressive. 7-4 short enough to me. You know, but he looks a fair horse now. You know what I mean. But there's something that's telling me that he could just get turned over.
Okay. So you still haven't decided or told us who do you think will win?
Look, Henry's horses to me definitely weren't right.
Did he send 3 over that weekend, wasn't it? And all 3 basically bombed out. And where was he? He was talking somewhere, probably to Gary O'Brien somewhere, but he did put a line through all 3 runs.
And just the word lately is he thinks he has him back.
Okay.
That they're well. And look, he's only coming in. He could be coming in a fresh horse. Yeah. 15-2 for a Gold Cup winner that won 15 lengths last year is a fair price. But you're banking on a lot that he's back to his best. If he is back to his best, I think he'll give the Galloping Shop a fair race.
Fair enough for Bill. So we're going to go for a Plutarch with a bit of caution each way. Mark.
Yeah, I think the favourite. He's favoured for a reason. He looks exceptional. The question is, will he stay? We ask this question every year when a horse tries to go a cup distance. He's proved it the last day. I think he's run to the line, even the way he ran to the line, 7-4. Look, I agree. Price is short for a reason though, because if he does go on win, it's going to be a good price. But I think maybe on the day you'll get a bit better if depending on what way the race cuts up. But it looks like nearly what's in it is going to stay in it.
Yeah.
Brave Man's Game, I thought was very good in Kempton. I fancied him big time for the King George, and he duly obliged. Paul Nichols been raving about him, but Paul Nichols is positive about a lot of horses. Paul Nichols' record of late in Cheltenham, not great, because you're kind of aiming for entry with a lot of them the last couple of years. But look, the man has won how many Gold Cups? I think he's definitely going to. This could be some race. Brave Man's Game, Applotard, some winner of the race last year, and we're only writing him off on 1 run.
Yeah.
And as I said, Billy is 100% right. Henry has come out and said he thinks he has him back right, and when a man like that comes out and tells you that, he's going to take a bit of whacking if he's back to anyway. If he's back to the level he was last year, definitely going to be Galloping's main rival, in my opinion. I can't have nobody else. Horses that win Grand National, two only horses I've ever run.
I can't believe the price of it. I can't believe he's so short in the
I
betting.
suppose it's just what's in behind, really, you know. Statler, Galloping the Champs, showed him what to do last time, didn't he?
Yeah.
Conflated, can't have him. Shark could be some
Oh,
performance of the Shark.
No, look, I
finish
think
in
he's
the top. We won't run.
I bet you he won't run.
Yeah.
If the ground is slow, he won't run.
No, he wants dry ground.
Yeah,
won't
he does.
Yeah.
He's already said it. He says he
Yeah.
mightn't even run.
Yeah.
He says,
And
sure
is
if
he,
they
is he
get
in
there,
another race? Is he? Or
no,
need to
say
come out.
But this was it, wasn't
this
it?
is
Yeah,
it.
so I'd say
I'd say he'll go entry Punchestown or something like that.
yeah, and look, if the ground does come, he's going to leave him in it, and probably if it comes up dry, he'll probably run.
Yeah.
Be some crack if he's even in the first 3 or 4.
Oh, yeah.
But he said it the other day. He said he can finish top 4. He said that'd be like winning the Gold Cup for him.
Yeah, but for me, look, Galloping the Champs, I would like to see him go out to 9-4, 2-1 maybe, or something like that.
Hey, juice.
But he was definitely unbackable at 5-4. 7-4, 2-1, I think he's backable.
Right.
Because he is the class. He should be a 2-time festival winner already. And what really is he done wrong? Bar that blip last year, which was a freak fall.
Yeah.
Brave Man's Game. I think Apple will run down Galloping or run him home. And if Galloping the Champs doesn't stay, we'll be the one to pick up the pieces. So for me, Galloping the Champs to win and Apple each way.
Right, fair enough, Mark. I'm sticking. I think we're all in agreement with Plutard at the prices. Plutard would be my number 1 selection, but I think Manila Indo at 20s. What 20s is it, Mark?
Yeah, he's 20-1 actually.
I think it's a crazy price for a horse that's coming in fresh as a daisy. Obviously won Tramore in the race at Album Photo, usually wins at Christmas or New Year's at Tramore. Look, he's a 10-year-old, his record on Cheltenham is very good. Season campaigner, great jumper. I suppose I don't know who'll ride him, but because Rachel will obviously be on a Plutard, but I think at the prices, Melilindo is crazy value. And look, obviously you get 4 places everywhere for the Gold Cup. You might even get the odd 5 with a firm here or there, but I think at 20s it's a cracking each way bet.
I think Sean Flanagan could ride him, could he?
Sean
could ride, would he?
Well, he rode that Monty's Way, the winner for in Clonmel,
Suppose, yeah.
on the same owner, so he might.
Who else rides for Henry? Is it Darrell O'Keefe?
Yeah.
He's some rider. He's a cracking rider.
Yeah,
but I think you could be right about Sean Flanagan. I think I could have heard it during the year that he might ride him.
So Sean, you might drop Billy a text or one of us a text and let us know when you listen to this and let us know if you're riding or not.
Some substitute too, Sean.
No, jeez, he's some pilot.
Yeah.
Actually, pun wasn't intended there at all. Sean being a pilot, I swear to God, I actually did not plan that. I did not plan that. And look, listen, you can look. Elward, Alundreel, Wacker, Ryle Pagal, sounds Russian. A high senior, don't think has a jumping ability to do it. Protectorate, has been there, done that, not good enough to do it. Conflated, again, is not good enough to win. Statler, not good enough to win. Noble Yates is no price or value at all. Brave Man's Game, again, has the engine, but doesn't have the jumping. And Galloping the Champ wins if everything goes his way.
Yeah.
He will win, but I think we're all in agreement with a Plutard, each way value. But I'm going
second or third to the SP value, getting money back.
Dan Brooks, is it?
Can you edit out that word he just said? A few beeps in. But no, I mean, in the whole, Gordon was, or Henry was interviewed yesterday. You were saying he runs well. His form at the festival is 2-1-2-1 or something. So he's due to win the next time he runs or something.
Exactly, and just obviously Henry's won it the last 2 years. Obviously with Rachel. Just a couple of key trends and stats. Horses aged between 7 and 9. So the last 10 Gold Cups, the horse has been aged between 7 and 9. Now Mililindo's 10. Grade 1 chase winner, 9 of the last 10 winners. No more than 13 starts over fences, 9 of the last 10 winners. At least an RPR rating of 172, 9 last 10. All won over 3 miles, 9 last 10. Like, you can just, there's stats out there you can throw at you, but I do think Milindo will break a couple of those stats and definitely run in the top 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Lads, that's basically every race covered. We have to get on to, I suppose, the most important part. Boyle Sports have kindly given us €100 in free bets. We have €25 each to do, and then we have a €25 win treble. As I said at the start of the show, we're going with Cleanest Foundation, who are our sponsor here for the Limerick Leader Sports Show. And obviously, actually, when Mark's chat the other night, they actually are his breacher sponsor as well. So shout out to Brendan Ring and the incredible work they do in Cleanest Foundation. Mark, I'm going to start with you. I want your €25 bet. Are you going to €25 win, or are you going each way on something?
I'm going to go each way, try and get a few quid in the kitty. That Mayor Willie's Hot You Wear, whatever race she runs in, I'm going to have a pop at her sheets, either 14 or 16, depending on what race she runs in. So I'm going to go 12.50 each way.
12.50 each way for you. I'm going to go with the Hope of the Millilindo, and the race falls apart. Millilindo at what? What price is Millilindo with Boyle at the moment, Mark?
20 to 1.
20 to 1. 20 to 1. I'm going to have 12.50 each way on Millilindo at 20 to 1 with the Hope. Look, listen, finished top 4. There's a small bit of profit and a bit of money there for cleaners. Bill, what is your selection for €25 win bet?
Sir Gerhard.
Sir Gerhard, that's 7s, wasn't it?
6s, I think.
6s. Bill, are you going on the nose or are you going to go each way?
I'll go on the nose.
Yeah, you were fairly bullish. So that'd be around 25 at 7s roughly. So that's perfect. So just to clear there, Mark, you're going for What You Wear wherever she goes.
No, hot you wear, yeah.
Sorry, Hot You Wear wherever she goes, 12.50 each way.
Do French at school, did you?
Excusez-moi.
I don't know what economics do. Some more girls going in there, so I thought it was very
Yeah. Why did you do that, Mark?
I wanted to get the free buns. Okay?
No, you didn't. You got kicked out of the way, Mark.
I got. Oh yeah, we're going to start throwing out now. Okay, my year ahead was my woodwork teacher.
Come
I
on.
got kicked out the first day.
A bit of decorum, please, gentlemen, please. I'm going for Millilindo at 12.50 around the 20 mark, and Bill, you're going with 25 on the nose with Sir Gerhard. Right, the win treble. We have to come to some sort of arrangement or agreement here. Mark, you're going to get the odds up there on the Boyle's website, and we'll get the price and everything. My selection for first selection for the win treble, it will be I'll go with Mighty Potter in the Turners, isn't it? I go with Mighty Potter around 6 to 4.
I think he's 11 to 10 now.
Is he 11 to 10? That's fine.
We'll put him in and then we'll see what the treble makes.
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect. Bill, while he's getting his computer ready or what's going to be your selection?
I'm going to go Marie's Rock and the Mares.
Mare's Rock, just a bit of juice there. So Marie's Rock is around the trees in the Mares. That's brilliant. And Mark, what is your selection?
El Fabiolo on the air.
That's what, 6, 7 to 4, and we have roughly 11 to 10. So do your maths there. What price are we getting it? And will our friends at Boyle's enhance it?
Yeah, we'll do so. Won't we?
Yeah. We'll have a word with the powers that be.
Have you the power to do that now, Mark?
I barely have the power.
You can't use the power word, actually. Sorry, we're not allowed to use the power word. That conflict of interest with.
Green word.
Have you the...
Yeah, of course I do. Right, so what we're saying, El Fabiolo.
El Fabiolo.
Marie's and the Mares.
Marie's and the Mares, and Mighty Potter in. Mighty Potter's about 6 to 4, says 7 to 5.
Marie's is trees, and
We probably should have organised this beforehand because you're
have.
not very quick on your phone over there.
It's the internet in here.
Look, it works roughly out around. It's around the 28 to 1 mark. So look, either or, we're going to get Boyles enhanced that to 30s first.
Right.
I'm gonna stamp my feet and throw a strop if they don't. But look, our win treble is Marie's Rock, Marie's Rock, Mighty Potter, and El Fabiolo for a 25 win bet. So look, listen, fingers crossed, God forbid, a 30 to 1, we might get eight or 900 quid back out for Cleanest Foundation. So
21 to 1, by the way.
21 to 1.
Your maths is crazy.
Sorry, do you know what? I was actually using another firm who are actually better value than
That must be Star Sports. They don't lay eggs, kid.
Look, we'll say 25s. Boys
Yeah.
might give us 25s.
Yeah,
And look, we might get 600 or 700 quid there for cleaners. Lads, look, that's after finishing the marathon there. Thanks very much for arriving, not on time, but for arriving here with me today. Bill, thanks a million.
No problem.
We might actually, well, I'm not saying we might, you will come back in later on in the year because we have one or two things to clarify with Mark Enright on the Friday night chat show the other night.
Not to clarify, he's a liar.
And see, that's it, and that's defamation of character there, Fish. If you are listening, Billy has to come in and give his side of the story.
His name is Fish.
Yeah.
No, Bill, listen, thanks very much. Come here, before you go, right, I said this to Mark the other night. Is there anything exciting wise, 2-year-old wise, that we can maybe keep an eye out on for the flat season? It's not too far away now.
No, not too far away. Look, any my men that are all tourists, they haven't done a whole lot yet, so
Okay.
it's hard to know. So
Yeah.
just hopefully they'll be coming out, but we've nothing to say for the first few races of the 2-year-old campaign, so we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Fair enough. Well, listen, I'm sure I'll be talking about you on the Monday and Wednesday sports show like I do every week.
That's the harder question. Any older horse to look out for?
Come here. Have you anything, I suppose, for Dundalk next week, Bill? Throw the listeners out a bit of, because I have a feeling come Friday night, we'll all be crying into our pints, and we've all lost a ton. Anything coming up there in the next week in Dundalk, Bill?
No, not much now.
Okay, you're a politician now.
This is 20 years of my life trying to get one. You're not going to get one in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Roman Buller's there probably next week. He does a good chance.
Is that for Michael Callan, is it?
No. Mike O'Mara there in Nina. So
good
he'll
Nina,
have a
man.
good chance again.
Good man, perfect. Listen, Roman Bull, that's perfect. We'll keep an eye out for that. Mark, listen, from Bilesports, thanks very much for this morning.
No problem at all.
Make sure you get that enhanced. Actually, just look at my phone here. That firm I was using for that triple, it's actually gone up to 28.2 to 1 now. But Biles are going to give us 25 to 1 on our win treble for cleaners.
They've upped in price.
No, lads, listen, thanks very much. Thanks everyone for listening. This has been the Iconic Media Cheltenham preview in association with Bilesports. And listen, best luck to everyone. They're punting for the week. Obviously, gamble responsibly. And best luck to all Irish connections. And look safe home to all the horses next week. Thanks very much.